Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a lovely Monday evening. Hope you are having a wonderful day. Thank God it's Monday, beginning of a new work week. And I hope you had a wonderful day, or you're still having a beautiful day working because it's just 10 minutes past 5 p.m. Thank you very much for being here. And before we get into the conversation, I'd like to thank folks on TikTok. People like Ibo Jinodu, Koboko, Olumuyiwa, Ogbeni Agbe, Abi71, Ibo Jinodu, I mentioned that earlier, right? Yeah, and every other person who power tapped to help us get to 49.3k likes on TikTok. Thank you very much. All right, thank you for your support. Thank you for engaging the live stream. And if you're on TikTok, please join the rest. Join our folks who are power tapping and also power tap. Let's like the live, let's share so others can also see what's going on right on this platform. To folks on YouTube and on Facebook and Twitter, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're having a wonderful day as well. If you're on YouTube, please like and share the live, right? And you can also repeatedly tap on your screen. That way you are doing what we call power tapping on TikTok. So please power tap on YouTube as well. Please like the live, share, and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please like and share. And if you're on Twitter, please like and repost. So it's a beautiful Monday once again. So we've had a number of things happen over the weekend. And of course, we're not going to be able to get into everything, but we're going to talk about the things we can talk about. And we begin to ask certain questions, okay? And hopefully we'll get the answers in today's conversation. If you look on the screen, you see the first question. Is Peter Obi okay with IPOB? It's a question. I hope we get the answer before we go today. The other topic is Operation Clean Sweep. I'll tell you all about that in a bit. And then there's Nigerian prisoners in Ethiopia. Actually, some prisoners were, how do you say this? Prisoner exchange, right? There was a prisoner exchange between Nigeria and Ethiopia. Some very interesting things going on in this country at this moment. And then, of course, folks are returned from South Africa as well. We'll talk about all that, much later. But before we get into the conversation at all, let's begin with this interesting stuff somebody wrote on the comment section on TikTok. I think the person is Philumqui. Someone said Igbos have the right to contest in Lagos. So, just to answer your question very quickly, do people have rights to contest in Lagos? Of course they do. For me to say they don't is for me to either feign ignorance or literally intentionally speak against the constitution. So as far as the constitution is concerned, every Nigerian has a right to run or to contest for any political office in any Igbo land. It's just that, but the funny thing is just that people actually assume that what that section of the constitution means is that Igbos can run in Lagos. They don't think Fulani can run in Imo. It's the stupidity in the argument. The assumption that that particular clause works only in favor of one group makes no sense. So a Fulani man can become governor of Anambra State. A thief man can become the governor of Ebonyi State. Like, that's how it should be. If you want to be shouting, can you contest based on your constitution? Here's the thing. Just as the Fulani man would never win governorship in Anambra State, and Igbo man would never be governor of Lagos State or your state, any part of Southwest. Now, people can hear that. I wish I was actually on camera saying this because I would love to cut it out and put it out there. Right? People can hear that and begin to hog transformer and throw tantrums. That doesn't change anything, right? The point is there is no sense in expecting somebody from another place, right, to become a governor. Have we looked through our own people now? We don't have any sensible person that can lead us. That we're going to go look for someone from another, enclave. It makes no sense, to be honest. Yeah, but people can wish. It's not new. It's not new. Right? There's no big deal about contesting. Unless, of course, people's desire in life is to contest. If people's desire is to win, then they better listen to the voice of reason. It's beyond just contesting. I said the other day that if you say you want to run for office, you can run. The question is, are you going to get to your destination? If the destination is winning, then it goes beyond just what the constitution says. It goes to acceptance. It goes to many other things. So I just thought I should quickly mention that before we get into stuff, into the conversation. But thank you for putting that on, in the comment section. By the way, Orokonwa to Jaro over the weekend, that code mixing was fire. Even me, I felt it. Anyway, let me find a way to say it in English language. So something came up over the weekend. There was an exchange between a guy, Illbliss, they call him. He's a rapper, I hear. I have no idea. I don't know any of his songs, but again, I'm not his audience, so that's okay. So there was a conversation on Twitter, right? And the exchange actually just showed something quite interesting. I mean, we've talked about this before, and I saw it somewhere. I saw it on Twitter also a while back, and it's true that the most educated person from the Southeast and the person hawking gala on the streets, they think similarly. They think alike. There will be exceptions, and I've met many exceptions. The exceptions are there, but the rule is everybody thinks the same way. All right? There will be exceptions, and I know exceptions. And it's important for me to acknowledge that there are exceptions. But you see, exceptions do not invalidate the presence of rules or the validity of rules. So your exception actually proves that the rules do exist. And I said that to say that when you look at the way people move and the things they say, the same thing you hear someone on social media just go out talking about is also what you hear some clown, some PhD holder saying the same thing, and politicians and even rappers now. And I'll just quickly read that exchange to you. I really wish, what, I'm going to find a way to make sure that we're able to do this in such a way that maybe we'll come on camera once in a while. But I'm liking this. I hope you're liking it as well. So let me read the exchange. So it was Illbliss. It says the Igbos have contributed immensely. By the way, what is it with this Igbos have contributed immensely? Are people vagabonds that they will never talk about how they've contributed to building their homes? The conversation is always about how they've built other people's places. There's nothing cool about it, though. There's nothing cool about it. Like when you say things like only content to mo fẹ́ fi hàn yín mo bọ̀ ẹ fún mi ìṣẹ́jú kan. Just a second. Okay, fine, found it. So it says the Igbos have contributed immensely to the Lagos economy, commerce-wise. If you have a problem with it, hug a frigging transformer. We have made massive investments in real estate too. Other tribes have contributed too. Why is it always a problem with when it's the Igbos? Why? And then a person on Twitter says, his name is Ige Olushayo. He says, better go and contribute and save your lands from erosion. Lagos has offered you betterment. Respect that and stop being lousy. No one sends your papa. It is what it is. People get angry when you start talking about Lagos the way people do. The way Igbos do specifically. So Illbliss responded with this nonsense. He says, or he wrote, we own your lands, fool. You know the funny thing about these clowns? Put everything they own together. Reach half of Dangote refinery. Dangote refinery is a city. All the things where these clowns just pack them together. If you enter Dangote, if you enter Dangote refinery, you go still find change. Space go still there. If anybody should be, and that's the thing about how people who are civilized. Dangote has been in Lagos for about 50 years, more than 40 years, definitely. Okay, he's been doing business, he's been thriving, and he's doing well, and he owns more real estate than the combination of most of this village. Finish reading the nonsense this clown wrote. He says, we own your lands, fool. We bought everywhere and renting it back to you. Thank you, Lagos, for the opportunity, because they were not raised to appreciate God's blessings. But he eventually came out later to apologize, which of course makes no sense. So it's not about apologizing, and I'll tell you why. I like when people change their minds and apologize. I mean, there's nobody only pass, right? So we all make mistakes, but this is not a mistake. So that's the thing. This is not a mistake. What this is an overflow. When the Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. What's really happening is that you have a person who is speaking out of the abundance of his heart. And it's not the only one. It's not even a personal issue, to be fair. It's not a personal problem. It's not an individual issue. It's a cultural problem. Which is why people went to a conference and they're debating whether they could do some stuff in Lagos. And I'm probably going to play that video before we go on. But let me read to you what Iblis said on Facebook about 6 hours ago. He says, a few days ago, I typed a tweet that stated that the Igbos had contributed commercially to the incredible growth in Lagos alongside other tribes. A bunch of derogatory tweets responded in attack, asking we should vacate Lagos and return to our erosion-filled land, which is actually valid, considering how much of a nuisance you guys are becoming with this rubbish. But let's keep reading. I was upset and responded rather harshly in these words. We bought all your land and we resell it to you, end quote. No, you said a lot of things, but okay, we'll just continue reading. I've always been baffled at how hostile certain factions have been towards the Igbos when it comes to developing areas outside the southeast. I apologize if you found my comments brash. It wasn't intended to tarnish Lagos, a state that has accommodated us all and supported our art, our business, and our growth. For many years, we live. Oh, but how can you put full stop in the middle of a sentence? You can't rubbish with this. Oh, law school. He says he apologizes if you found my comments brash. It wasn't intended to talk about our art, our business, and our growth for many years. We live here and it's our home, and we will always treat it as such. Thank you and stay blessed. You are not serious. It's not your home. It's not your home. I'll probably do another video. I really wanted to talk about these things, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll do a video, and if I need to, I will. Lagos is not Igbo home. I don't care how many houses you bought in Lagos, it's not your home. And it's not because we are saying it's because even you know that it's not your home. If anything happens like this, also Abiola has happened, you have come back to the east, you know it's not your home. You are just being a nuisance. And it's nonsense. Someone says the apology is totally gaslighting. Of course, I mean, it says if only I apologize if you found my comments brash. That's not an apology, to be fair. That's just clowning. And the thing is that because of their cultural awareness, they don't understand how stupid all these things are. That's the most painful part of all of these things. You know how you talk to a person, they just can't get it. It's like teaching calculus to a kindergarten kid, a pupil in kindergarten. They just don't understand. Like, what's the big deal? I can just write x and y. Why must you be telling me about dy, dx, the x, the y? They just can't get it. It's too high. I will do it. I mean, by the way, let me just quickly make something clear because somebody might listen to this later. The truth of the matter is that not a non-Yoruba person, and there are people who are not Yoruba who call Lagos home. But I doubt if any of them, and I'm using I doubt. I don't want to say categorically that none of them could be Igbos, and I'll tell you why. Because the cultural evolution of Igbos cannot allow them to become owners. Because owners are not. I mean, most of what you hear is not. They're not perspectives. They're not narratives of owners. They're narratives of thieves. A person who has a sense of ownership. It doesn't matter. See, again, it's not about you being Yoruba. I mean, Lagos is Yoruba land. It goes without saying, right? Lagos is Yoruba land, so that one is given. There's no reason to say and be debating that. However, when it comes to ownership of the space, in other words, we call it home. Igbos don't have the capacity to do that, and it's not because they've not bought, plots of land. It's just that there's no connection with the land. The things you hear right now is just a person who thinks of the scarcity back at home and he cannot go back there. Therefore, he wants to lay claim to everything elsewhere. That's the reason you can't be. I mean, Dangote will call Lagos, but we won't think about it twice. And it's not because it's Dangote. There are people I know in Lagos who are not. They're not outside. They're not even from majority ethnic groups. There are some minority groups. They've lived in Lagos. I don't want to mention the name of the groups now because if I now go and say minority, but you get the point. But there is a connection with the space. They want the good of the land. You just want to take advantage of the land. That's the difference. Owners are not about taking advantage of the space. They're about, they're going to take advantage of the place, because, it's just normal, right? But they want something, they want the place to get better. They want the place to be blessed. You guys don't want anything good for the. It's market for you because you're traders. And the clowns that were insulting me before I even started today on TikTok, I hope you got the answer you were looking for. All right, let's now go to today's topic. Well, it's just news, right? Please, if you're on TikTok, don't stop our typing. Thank you very much, and like the live as well. If you're on YouTube, please like and share, and also subscribe to the channel. I hear you can subscribe on Twitter, on TikTok as well, so please subscribe, and you can also give gifts on YouTube, so please do that. If you're on TikTok, please click on the heart icon above my picture and join the team. Drop your heart to me so we can push the live to the FYP together. All right, now let's get to today's gist. Apparently, Peter Obi was in Washington, D.C. a couple of days ago, and he said something a lot of people have, shall I say, feared he would do if he ever became president. Of course, he would never. I don't support him. If just in case you are joining us for the first time, good to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Adebusui Oris. I do not support Peter Obi, so I don't see any sense in even supporting him, just to be clear. And every time he says something, he tries to prove my point, like the reason I should never support him. So I really like to thank him for every time he speaks. Maybe he should speak less, because every time about sorrow, it just proves people right that, oh boy, where are you coming from? And just in case you have not heard what he said, I'm going to play you that clip. It's a long clip. I'll play the long one and we'll talk about the beginning, which is the reason for the question you have on your screen. Is Peter Obi okay with IPOB? The answer is actually simple, but we'll get into it. So let's begin with this speech that he gave when he went to Washington, D.C. And this was just a couple of days ago. And here is His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi. Take a listen. Oh, wait. We can't go to Obi yet. I just remember something. I told you there was another video I was supposed to play. I apologize. I'm going to do my introduction again. There's a video I was supposed to play earlier that I did not play about this whole Lagos thing. Please bear with me. Please listen to this. This was at a conference in the East, and they had a question about Lagos, which is quite interesting. But by the way, there's a young man, Ogo Maximilian. I see him, and it's important to acknowledge them. I think he is one of those exceptions, but the rule just doesn't. The rule doesn't require you to have sense when you talk. They just talk rubbish when you're talking about Yoruba land, as if Afisheni. But take a listen to this, and then we'll go to Peter Obi, and then we'll revisit this some other time. Take a listen to this conversation at the conference, Igbo conference in Nuku.
You haven't quite straightforward answering the question of whether we can claim the same rights as those from Lagos. Because I know that Nigeria is one of the member states in ECOWAS, and in ECOWAS we have the absolute right for movement of human beings and businesses. You can do business across the ECOWAS without any restriction. So my question is direct. In your view, do you think Igbo should enjoy equal opportunities as those from Lagos State. Thank you.
He said, do I think that Igbos have the right to claim equal rights in Lagos? At least you know me a little bit. I'm a blunt person, and I'm going to be blunt right now. I am from Imo State. I don't care whatever ECOWAS said. I'm just being realistic. In every entity, there are landowners. Israel, whether that is how it is. I also believe that we as Igbos, if we go to Lagos, they have been liberal with us enough. They allow us to contest elections and win. Also, Oshodi is solo. For the past 3 consecutive election seasons, federal constituency, Igbos have been winning it, including the one that is there now. I just called out how many chairmen of markets now, over 10 since 1970 to now, that were Igbos. That's enough. They give us freedom to do business. Interfering in their politics, I don't accept it. I don't support it. And I'm also saying clearly right here now that we don't have rights to claim equal rights with them. The only thing we have to do is to enjoy the privileges that they have given us.
Thank you. On clear facts. I think you are confusing indigenship with citizenship. So to that extent, you are wrong. I know that maybe culturally, maybe someone cannot come to Oka and begin to lay certain claims because it embarrasses the sensitivities of maybe the indigens. Like I'm an Nnewi man, so it might be wrong to come to Oka and begin to lay certain claims because that might amount to being insensitive to the sensibility as a citizen. If I want to contest for maybe Oka 1 constituency to represent Oka because I'm resident in this place, I can do that. It is within my right as a citizen. But that might embarrass the sensibilities of indigens and that might, raise some questions. But if we are discussing legality and the rights of people of Igbo extraction who are living in Lagos, they are entitled to the politics and to other privileges that has been guaranteed by the Constitution of Nigeria. But if we are now talking about people being sensitive to the nuances, the cultural differences and other things, that's where we caution people to apply wisdom and to not exercise the full extent of their rights as far as this conversation is concerned. Thank you very much.
Every election victory begins with a...
You see, you notice that when the first man spoke, they were just looking like Dundee. But as soon as the second person said what they wanted to hear, everybody began to clap. The reason they began to clap is because that's the cultural, that's the socialization they have had. This idea that you can go anywhere and do anything. Let me tell you the crazy part in all of this. The first guy, that's Ugo, he literally said that, should the sort of constituency, in the last 3 electoral cycles, Igbos have had people Igbos have been the ones representing that particular constituency in Lagos State. If you have enough sense, does that not tell you that what you are looking for, you already have? What else do you want? Like, you have people who have represented, Lagos, and it's not new. In 1950, okay, I'm about to start class, but let me just quickly say it. In 1950, right, the mayor of Lagos was Olorunimbe. The deputy mayor was Mbono Jike. 1950. In 1951, Nnamdi Azikiwe represented Lagos in Ibadan, the Western Region Parliament. I'm not saying 2021, I'm saying 1951. By 1962, there's a man constituency in Ibadan, Western Region Parliament. So you have example from 1950, from 1951, from 1962, and even in this Fourth Republic, we've had Tony Wulu, who has been a member representing House of Representatives, representing Oshodi Solo in the House of Representatives. He's also Igbo, he's from Imo State. The one who is there right now, or John Nicholas, I think he's from Anambra State. We've had Igbos in the House of Assembly in Lagos, although one of them I hear was saying that he had a problem with the father who was speaking Yoruba on Thursday. That's why we say you're not part of us. You don't have enough common sense to know that you're supposed to integrate yourself into the culture of the place. You are telling them what they should speak, why they're speaking Yoruba on Thursday. Who are you? The point I'm trying to make is that what these clowns are looking for, they have it already. Like the people even today, there's an Igbo person representing a constituency in Lagos. So what do? You begin to think of how to make the place better so that nobody won't think about your ethnicity when it comes to politics. But no, because you're not properly raised, instead of you to think of how to make the place better, cares about your right. Your right means nothing. And when I say nothing, it's not like you will not run. Of course, like I said, you will run, you will just not arrive. What's this thing? And the funny thing is, they never have this kind of passion for their homeland. Now, so another person land. How can I become? I have a right. I have a right. I have a right. Who cares? Meanwhile, the clown who is shouting he has a right. He has no plan to go and run. No. What he is doing is that he's destroying the opportunities that his brothers who have that kind of mindset would ever have in Lagos or Yoruba land. Number two, they also do not allow this ambition to push them to speak in the north, which shows that some people, that many of these people are cowards. You don't have rights in Kaduna, in Kano, in Sokoto. You can't go there and tell them, I have a right. You know how Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. The only thing these ones have is I have a right. I have a right. At least MLK had a dream. These ones have no dream apart from just asserting that they have rights. Meanwhile, I don't hear these clowns asking for Hausa, Fulani, Idoma, even if that's very close, to become anything, House of Representatives or House of Assembly in their own place. And just in case you're wondering, I mean, is this new? It's not. Where these guys ethnicize everything in politics to the point where people have to speak up. And it's so interesting that what happened in 1948 is literally happening in 2026. And the reason is because certain people have not evolved. I mean, again, like I said, everybody makes mistakes. There's no perfect ethnicity. There's no perfect person. I'm not perfect. I'm not sure you are. My ethnicity is not perfect. I'm not sure yours is. But it's one thing to make mistakes. It's another thing to be stuck in the evolutionary process where you just can't move to the next place. Metamorphosis has ended at the larva stage. And the person so you can be in your caterpillar level, be in your cocoon and be crying, and even caterpillar is even too high. You're saying in your cocoon, you're just shouting and making noise and shouting, oh, let me run, I have a right, I have a right. You can't fly. If it help you to even come at night, folks will tell him about, what he could or couldn't do in different parts. Can play video in total. Sorry, I want to play you that clip very quickly before we now move on to the question about Peter Obi's should I say Peter Obi being okay with terrorists. By the way, IPOB, they are terrorists though. In case you are here and you are angry, you're going to be very angry for a very long time. If you're supporting IPOB, you are supporting a terrorist, a proscribed organization. It just so happens that Peter Obi doesn't say anything. Oh, video please. I come play last week, Abi. I'll tell you what is there. Okay, while I'm looking for it. If I find it, I'll play it. If I don't find it, okay, you know what? I know where to look. Number. If you even want to go all over the place, be asking for asking for right, at least show workings at home. And like I always say, I'm not asking for Yoruba man to be governor of Anambra State. That would be beneath any sensible Yoruba person. It's beneath you as a Yoruba person to even contemplate becoming governor of Enugu State. For what? For what reason? So now I'm not advocating for Yoruba people to become anything in Enugu State. What I'm advocating for is for Igbo people to allow other Igbos to become something in their neighboring states. That's what I would like to see. And just in case you are wondering why am I saying that, please take a listen to Ilbliss, the same one who was talking about buying land in Lagos. Meanwhile, all the land is I sell land to Egbiri. Lease, don't sell. Lease, don't sell. But the point is, it's like an ocean. Land to us as your. How much water the ocean to dry up? How many tankers do you need? As a whole, you are packed into a place that's the size of your state. The land becomes something like everything you're saying is from the point of scarcity. Your frame of reference is scarcity. I must get it, I must get that, I must get it, I must get that. Like, it's not a big deal now. I mean, how much do you want? If you are tired, we can even help you reclaim some land from the ocean. Then you understand. Anyway, back to the clowns and how they want to have places in Lagos and take over. Take a listen to what happens in the southeast. This is ill, please.
Anambra. Where I'm from, they will tell you, oh no, he's from Anambra, so give it to the Enugu man. Oh no, he's from Abia. No, not yet. It's not Imo's turn. It's not Ebonyi's turn. So we have divides right down to the states, right down to the local governments, right down. It's disgusting. They say Wawa. They say whatever happens, don't ever marry from the Wawa people. And I'm like, but I grew up in Enugu. I grew up here. Like I grew up here. All my friends are from Enugu State, mixed with Abia State, mixed with Anambra State. Why wouldn't I marry somebody from the, and then the Enugu State people came up with the indigenization policy and said, if you know you're not from the state, go back to your state. And I'm like, are you guys high or something? Like, how can you tell us to go back to say I'm from Imo? My entire life I was born in Enugu. My mom is Anambra, my dad is Imo. They met, got married, had.
You know the crazy thing about what you just listened to? He's not talking about something between Igbos and other ethnicities. He's talking about what happens within the group. When he says Wawa, so someone says, no, he's not Wawa, he's from Imo State. And Imo State, there's things I know about these people. I'm just very, with Imo, for instance, there's already issue with Imo. For instance, if you're an Anambra, let me give an example. It would be very difficult to have an Anambra woman marry an Imo man. And the primary reason, there are many reasons, but one of the major reasons is also caste system. It's prevalent in Imo. He's from Imo. I don't know what caste he belongs to. Now, with the Wawa people, the Imo people think they are higher than folks from Enugu and Ebonyi. So they call the Enugu and Ebonyi people Wawa. This is the same. Again, to be fair though, and this is, without fairness to them, they were not one group before the British came. It was the British that gave them a common identity as a people. Which is why I was saying the other day that until the 1940s, 1950s, the Onitsha man never called himself Igbo. He will always say that he's Onitsha. Everybody to his east is Igbo. Everybody to his west, at least all the way to Benin. Anyone from that river to Benin will be Enuani. He never called himself Igbo. He felt he was Onitsha in 1857. He met the people scantily dressed and not being able to eat very well. Those are the people that say that they are even higher than others. So you can fill in the gap. Anyway, the point is, when you have a situation where folks in a particular region are saying my town is higher than yours, my state is higher than yours, and you have not been able to actually find cohesion amongst yourselves, but you want to travel across rivers, seas, and oceans to go and tell people exactly how to live, there must be something wrong with you. Maybe you guys should go and fix your caste system first, and we'll understand. Prince says the SWDC needs to sensitize Yorubas on the options of leasing instead of outright selling. I'm sure they would. To be fair, SWDC will not say that, but we are saying that, and you should say that. And sometimes you don't need a government agency to say these things. Just put it out there. And it's not based on hate. It's based on preservation. People should live amongst you. You should have people living among them. We always have people live among us. You see, back in the day, right, we used to allocate land to strangers in Yoruba land. That would be strange to people who have very little of it. But we used to allocate land. Just say this particular place, so that's where you stay. All right? Then later on, we began to sell. even amongst ourselves, I can tell you, I'm on learn. All right. Ngboya, ilẹ̀ títà dé. Nísìnyí báyìí ilẹ̀ ò ṣe tà mọ́. Ilẹ̀ ò ṣe tà mọ́. Láwọn ibì kan. Wàá yá àwọn èèyàn lẹ́nu. Wàá gbalẹ̀. You can take the land for the next 15 years. You're there. 10 years, 5 years, whichever way, but that land is not your own. You are leasing it, and I think your people should do that. And when the day comes that your clinic has expired, you can carry whatever it is that you put on it and go. And even the one that you bought, I hope people understand the fact that what you get after purchasing land is called certificate of occupancy. No certificate of ownership. There's no certificate of ownership. It's certificate of occupancy that can be revoked. And it has been done before. I mean, people should keep being stupid. They'll be on my back to watch you. Now, let's go to the man who wants to become president. The man who wants to become president. And we'll go back to the question on your screen. Stands for apparently is Obia and Kokwa. It's a slogan that they are using in their campaigns, which is quite nice, quite ingenious to a level. But the question we're asking is the way he's speaking glowingly and almost advocating for Nnamdi Kanu. It begs the question, is Peter Obi okay with IPOB? Please take a listen to this.
And I want you to put it on tape. I said repeatedly that there's no reason for keeping Nnamdi.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason whatsoever. Now, you cannot arrest somebody because he was speaking on radio, he's calling people names. Doesn't make sense. You know, everybody can tell you anything. I'm a politician, people call me lots of names. And I don't think calling me names have anything to do with it's an offense. It's not an offense. So for me, I said it that even all agitators, if I'm in government today, I will discuss with them. I will engage. Consult them. Because I believe that they have a reason for whatever they want to do. Have anything to do with it's an offense. It's not an offense. So for me, I said it that even all agitators, if I'm in government today, I will discuss with them. I will engage. I will consult them. Because I believe that they have a reason for whatever they want to do. It's only by engaging them that we'll learn and see how we can solve it and everything. And that's my own, but I'm not in position to do anything today. You talk about issue of rigging. Yes, somebody mentioned how we sure the elections are not going to be rigged. Elections are rigged in Nigeria because Nigerians want it to be rigged. It's as simple as that is. Yes. I do whatever is possible to protect the vote, but unless Nigerians decide that their vote will count, it will not count. Because if you vote and you say you're polling booth and say that this must be counted here, yes, it will be counted. Yes. But Nigerians, because our politics is on tape, I said repeatedly that there's no reason for keeping Nnamdi.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason whatsoever
I'm going to play another clip in a bit, but what are you hearing? Koti Debel is no longer, he's not yet president. He hasn't become president yet. He's already telling you, you might as well say that perhaps your first duty as soon as you just like announce the removal of subsidy, your first duty might as well be pardon a politician or whoever looks at Nnamdi Kanu's case and decides to, look at it again. But to say, I just want to play what Peter Obi said side by side. What Peter Obi said side by side. What Nnamdi Kanu said. And you're wondering, was he just insulting people and being vulgar? I'm going to play the part where the vulgar or vulgarity, where you can see that one, okay? But that's actually more personal to Peter Obi than anything else. Okay, so let's take a listen.
I said repeatedly that there's no reason for keeping Nnamdi.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason whatsoever. Now, you cannot arrest somebody because he was speaking on radio, he's calling people names. Doesn't make sense. Everybody can tell you anything. I'm a politician, people call me out of names. And I don't think calling me, and I want.
So here's the point. Is it true that that Nnamdi Kanu was actually calling people names and, being vulgar and stuff? Well, that's true. And that's not. But in case you want to hear when he was insulting persons, in this particular clip you're about to listen to, he was actually talking to Peter Obi as a person. Maybe Peter Obi thinks that Nnamdi Kanu was sent to prison because he insulted him. But take a listen to what he said about Peter Obi, and then we'll go on to other things.
We are also reporting that everybody seeks umbrella under Nigeria. Peter Obi is today telling us that he is also commending the Nigerian army for keeping Nigeria as one. These are the people that will defend him when we come after him. This is the criminal that stole money belonging to Anambra people to go and build a shopping mall in Abuja. Peter Obi, he is now hailing Nigerian army for keeping the country together, the people that killed his own people. When I tell you that Peter Obi was bad, people thought I was joking. Have you now seen it? He's hailing as one. And these are so-called Igbo people. Igbo men. Maybe his Alhaji boyfriend has told him to do that. People don't know that Peter Obi sleeps with other men. People don't know that. People don't know what we know. Don't know as one. And these are so-called Igbo people. Igbo men. Maybe his Alhaji boyfriend has told him to do that. People don't know that Peter Obi sleeps with other men. People don't know that. People don't know what we know. Only if you people knew what we know. And now the news in greater detail. President Good with his Hausa male lovers. Run. When we release the information we have on Peter Obi will abandon Anambra forever and will never come back. We will tell him the name of his boyfriend and the hotel where they slept together. He doesn't know that we are Radio Biafra. Everything is documented, everything. We must continue to bring the news and clarity.
That was said by Nnamdi Kanu. And of course, I don't know what you call it, whether it's an allegation or was just saying whatever I wanted to say, but you also have to understand that this is not new. This is not the first time Peter Obi is speaking up for IPOB and for these terrorists. Okay, this is not the first time. It's true to form. And in case you haven't heard him say anything related to that before, take a listen to this.
I live in Onitsha. I meet them and I live with them. I usually see people gathering and all that. And not one day did I feel a sense of threat or molestation or anything from them, even when they gather. You know, for me.
So you see the pattern, you see his antecedents. He's always spoken up for IPOB, and so he said that a while back when he said that they're his neighbors, you know, he sees nothing wrong with them, you know. And then before I go into some of the other things I want to use as argument, I want to play Peter Obi saying that thing in Washington DC one more time. Take a listen, please.
I said repeatedly that there's no reason for keeping married.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason whatsoever. Now, you cannot arrest somebody because he was speaking on radio, he's calling people names. Doesn't make sense. You know, everybody can tell you anything. I'm a politician, people call me lots of names. And I don't think calling me, and I want you to put down.
A powerful man. I know that very well. I can decide who lives or who dies. I can decide to play God if I want to. I have over 2 million men under my command. I can destroy anywhere I want to have destroyed. As the leader of IPOB, I am a very powerful man. I know that very well. I can decide who lives or who dies. I can decide to play God if I want to. I have over 2 million men under my command. I can destroy anywhere I want to have destroyed.
Obaseki declared 24 hours curfew. So I want to ask, tomorrow, are we permitted to go out and do what we need to do?
The protest is every day for the next 3 weeks. Every blessed day for the next 3 weeks. And you people must devise a strategy to outwit the army. As I said before, the army will face in one direction. There are some guns in Edo State right now as we speak. Use those guns to kill 1 or 2 army officers, take their guns from them and begin to kill the others. Anyone you kill, you take the guns and you kill other people as well. That's how it's going to be. Because they cannot sustain this fight for 3 weeks. To move their troops down, Boko Haram will overrun the north.
Yes,
and they understand they are very stupid.
Okay,
you know that Janjaweed, they are very daft, unless they are the ones sponsoring Boko Haram. There are guns in Edo State already. Kill the army wherever you see them. Kill 1 or 2. Take their guns and
declare 24.
I am warning everybody tonight, if you come out on the 31st on Monday, you are going to die. If you come on the 31st, I'm warning everybody you're going to die. That very day, allow me to, on the 31st, if you come outside, you will die. If you're a road transporter, if you're a transport worker or whatever, you know how people behave. They want to die. Who can tell me what to do? I'm going to die. That day you will perish. On the 31st, you will perish. I know 1 or 2 idiots who carry their basket. We are going to market. Can get change home again? I'll hear you that day. The land will eat you that very day. As you're going out to look for what the children will eat, the land will eat you instead. Any chairman of any market, be it Obani market, be it any market that opens on that very day, you're a goner. The land more. Highest thing they will write about it for 2 or 3 days and you'll be forgotten. It's another one we put on the 31st. You know the way we love dead bodies. Your obituary will happen. At least we'll go there and eat rice. Ndara. Monday is the real deal. 31st, nobody should come outside. If you have relatives in Omaha, go and tell them all. Go and tell them. Because the West now, around 12, they'll start creeping out to see. Our people are very foolish. Let me try and see if I can open my shop to see what will happen. Until your brain will be on the floor. Then an alarm, your eyes will open. I am.
Apparently, is It's just insulting people according to Peter Obi. I mean, what has he really done? It's just insulting people. It's calling for people to be killed and saying all kinds of things. I mean, to be fair, the court has done what the court wants to do. So he's already in place. Take a listen, please.
Anybody that takes out Wike will get 100 million. It's set aside. If you do it and I don't give you 100 million, then you know that I am not a human being, but I'm an animal. Wike is 100 million. Anybody who can take him down, 100 million on the head of Wike, 100 million. He's an idiot. A fool he is, after all, because you grew little Hitler mustache. You think you've arrived, idiot. Look at me. Wike is 100 million for his head. I will pay cash. And the money is in Biafra land. I will pay you cash, 100 million. Take down Wike, 100 million cash.
I told Obasanjo that I have given instructions to IPOB. Should anything happens to me, everything that comes from Obasanjo's lineage will die the same day at the same time. It's a standing instruction to IPOB. Wherever they are, we will kill them ourselves at the same time, the same day, 12 noon, wherever we find them all over the world. I am not like anything they have seen before. I warned them that this will happen, and that they cannot stop it.
For a Monday morning, Abakaliki-Enugu Express Road in Ebonyi State would have been a beehive of commercial activities. But now, it's almost same for Vanko Junction by Ogoja Road. It's an empty street except for one or two vehicles and passers-by. It's all in compliance with the sit-at-home order by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB.
Time of the day.
There is full compliance to the order in Anambra State. The usual hustle and bustle at Aroma Junction along the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway is absent. Banks, motor parks, schools and other business outlets are all shut.
I come to collect money for ATM to get what I want. To buy food stuff for my house. That is what make me come out.
The road leading to the government secretariat is also deserted, with no vehicles or even people in sight. The Anambra Police Command is not taking things for granted. Armed policemen.
If you look, everywhere is so deserted. But first of all, I must commend the Anambra State Police for ensuring, at least some essential workers that are out to still carry out their duties, like hospitals. At least the workers freely, have access to their workplace.
In Enugu, Ogui Road, leading to the main market, is also deserted. The mood is nothing different in Imo State. Weathero Road would have at this time been busy, but not today. The streets are empty in Abia State. Delta is in the south-south zone of the country, but the order seems to be having an impact here. Although there's free vehicular movement, some of the shops are under lock and key.
What is happening across the Niger. But everybody will have to run for his dear life because life does not have duplicate. So what we are seeing today is as a result of fear. People don't want to come and put their life at risk. That is why you are seeing the market empty.
Even banks are not left out. Some customers hang around, hoping to access the banking halls.
I'm here for transaction. I want to withdraw money. Since I came in over 45 minutes, I was not allowed to enter the bank.
While the order has paralyzed all shades of activities across the southeast of the country, work is expected to resume from tomorrow, Tuesday, June the 1st, 2021.
That was a report from Channel TV a while back, and it goes to show the economic implications of the Monday sit at home. And of course, Peter B doesn't think this actually means anything. But yeah, that's for his region. To be fair, he can say anything he wants in his region. But how about when he's talking about arming, certain people and then attacking my region, which happens to be the Southwest? I'll play the clip from the Congress in 2015, thereabout, in the United States, where he asked for arms and ammunitions. And then I'll then play you what happened during NSAS. Take a listen to this.
I know we love life so much. That's why we name the human being mad. That's why we come true. To kill somebody is very difficult for us. So to ask the gathering of people who believe that we need guns and bullets and weapons will be very, very difficult for you to digest. But without it, our side will overrun us. They have succeeded in planting a culture in Imo State. One big, massive problem we have. The same thing that happened in Akwa. If they succeed in triangulating, because in life everything is in triangle, if they get over it, if they take you Bosnia or Zakop, then we are finished as a people. Completely gone as a race. You will come back home, you will not be able to your father's compound because they are coming. Program is everywhere in their homeland. They will overrun us in a matter of minutes. And the world will not talk about it. Because what we are doing. We need guns and we need bullets. I know we love life so much. I know we.
Hausas are killing us. Yorubas on one side sucking our blood. Because anybody attending a Pentecostal church with a Yoruba pastor is an idiot. A complete fool. They are worse than Boko Haram. They are very, very foolish. Yoruba people.
There are some guns in Edo State right now as we speak. Use those guns to kill 1 or 2 or 3 army officers. Take their guns from them and begin to kill the others. Anyone you kill, you take the guns and you kill other people as well.
We'll bury him with 2,000 heads. I heard you so 2,000 heads. What about believe is only 100?
The mission of Radio Biafra is a very simple one. To get Biafra by every means necessary and possible. By every means, including war. We said we will burn the zoo down and we will do it. Nigeria will be burned to the ground. Burned to the ground.
Hoodlums terrorizing Southeast. His name is Etim Ene Okon. He's a Biafran man, but he was raised by the Fulani. This is the man that is responsible for the death of my father and my mother. This is the man that is responsible for the death of 28 young Biafrans in my house on 14th of September of 2017. This is the man that Okezi Bazo and the zoo police have brought back to kidnap, to terrorize, and to kill our people. Therefore, I'm going to come to Anambra in a short while. Therefore, those of us in Abia State must be very, very careful. Very, very careful, because I have a series of announcements to make. Before I do anything in life, if Britain respects me for one thing, is because anything I'm going to do, I warn you in advance before I do it. So when I do it, you know it's me. I have no need to hide, because I'm not a terrorist. I have no need to hide what I'm doing. This very man, we are going to find him as an example with him. His name is Etim Ene Okon. I want his pictures everywhere. The picture of his wife, his extended family, his children. We are going to hunt them down, all of them. We are going to set an example with this idiot, that the world may understand how angry we are. This idiot is responsible because they allowed him to get away scot-free. That is why he can come to mouth rubbish on the piece of newspapers.
This perimeter fence, go and burn down Lagos. Anybody, if you have double barrel, if you have pistol, anything you have, give it to them, let them go and kill them, penetrate the airport and set Motam Hamad Airport on fire. Set it ablaze right now. Then the world will listen. You are dealing with animals. Fulani Janja, they are animals. They do not reason. They do not reason. You don't know them. You don't know them. Are they not killing people? The caller on the line, can you hear me? Yes, please.
Good evening to you. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Chidegorugu, calling from Lagos.
What is happening where you are?
We was at Oshoda Papa Expressway. There was shooting us there. It's 5 people that they killed this evening.
How many policemen died? I don't want to hear they kill us, they kill us. How many did you kill? How many police or army did you kill? How many?
They have burned the Lafa police station. They have burned it down. They burned the Sele police station. They burned the Urile police station down. Everything is down now as I'm speaking.
Thank you very much. That is this perimeter fence.
Burn down Lagos. Destroy the zoo. But Peter Obi says that there's no reason for Nigeria to have him in prison. That's the person who has become president. He's an ethnic jingoist. See, they're not thinking about the country, you know. So, just to tell you that these are not people that you can really trust with anything. And I'd like to play you something. At this point, I want to play something that's more like a human, you know, like something from a person, an individual's perspective, something that happened to him. And I think that someone like this would probably not be very happy with kind of things that Peter B is, you know, spewing. Take a listen to this.
Erutele Mimo State. They come back the main road, bata my village because the old road are the Chagema. And gas plant in issue all there. Msima Shikweba and Hun did a rumor. Yamno tata. About the member, about when I'm to me, how ever have focus through he lost in the police in or why have go. That day, my first day, Gambo woman, I hope who kidnappers.
So, how many police people can help Bobule instantly?
Four. Up to today, I see they take care of those police people, their family. Four with family.
Police people, man, I'm not in a court. No, we're on your police here. No way anybody.
No, I wish you again in Nigeria. You know when we went to Nigeria, we name a lot of politics. If not, none the car they say hang.
That's what I demanded. That's what I demanded. And Hassan and the wicked. How would 4 policemen instantly?
Ni hum koro ta kam no like this. Nyoma amre na home. Ndi akechi emu like this, kurum kega na moto, krem na moto, bruma jeepu, hapu the hilos there. Aje wana with the moto hapu. Amase ebe ozom huzuli no nwe. Nyem no na nuzinante. Mbem taka Chineke chizame. Anụmanụ kwa umere ha nna nuzu ude ebe ahụ ya na-agafa so nnegide ụta ekechiri m aka not remove myself. Nye m nụziri hey don't move you're safe.
Ọ bụrụ ndị amị. Hey!
You know, it's one thing to talk as though we're just talking about abstract concepts, you know, proscription of groups, you know, burn down Lagos. That's not even abstract, by the way. But then you go from, oh, it's just an organization, they're just talking, no big deal. And then you look at 2 things particularly. Number 1, or maybe 3. Number 1, you know, is clips about burning down Lagos, and then what happened in the aftermath, right? BRT buses burnt down in Lagos, the forensic center was destroyed, Igboshiri High Court was burned down. They just went on rampage. Now, is it possible that he's the only one that did it? Maybe not. Maybe there are other people. However, what we can tell you is there's a man today. He's in Kirikiri. His name is Chinasa. It was one of those people one of the people that were caught, right? You know, burning things down and just destroying spaces. And then you heard the stuff from one of the callers saying, "Oh, they've done this to the filling station in Lhasa, they've done this, they've burnt it down, they've done all those things. Now, it goes beyond just vulgar words to action. Then you leave and then go to the southeast and look at the economic implications of the sit at home. But guess what? You may not even think so much about it. Then you now come to a story like the one we just finished listening to, of a person who was kidnapped and then is Igbo, by the way. Waste of time. Why should I be condemning him? The court has already determined the matter. I mean, I think his option right now is to go to the appeal court, and I wish him all the best. So this is not even about condemning Nnamdi Kanu. He's just trying to understand the way Obi's mind work. Like, you can't have all these things stacked. So in case somebody on YouTube is saying, why are you talking about Nnamdi Kanu? You guys should use your brains. It's not so much about Kanu, but about Obi. If Peter Obi is saying that this guy, there's nothing he has done to be in prison, and then you now see all this and you hear these things, they are like, wait, is this man a good judge of character? Peter Obi now. So this is not really about, all this I'm playing is not really about Kanu, because there's nothing you want to say about Kanu that has not been said. The court has said what the court has already put out the judgment, is in prison in Sokoto, that's that. But the person who wants to become president, who is making it look as if this man is being persecuted for being in prison, you begin to wonder, is this kind of person that should be an office holder, let alone president in Nigeria? So really it's about Peter Obi and the ridiculous claims that he's making about the fact that, the guy did not really say much. So I'd like people to come up, we'll talk about this for a bit, and then we'll go back to some of the things that he said, and we'll see how much things we can take from there. So I'll bring like 3 people, you take 2-3 minutes each, and then I'll take everybody down, then we'll go to the next story. So far, we've talked about the whole thing happening with all this thing about our one Lagos. Lagos is our own, which is a joke. A lot of people are shouting that they want Lagos. For the most part, happen to be Igbos who don't have an idea what they want. And like I said earlier, just in case you're just joining us, the idea that Igbos want to have political representation in Lagos is stupid. And the reason is because they already do have it. That's the crazy thing about this whole argument. They have it. Right now, the member representing Oshodi Solo constituency in the Federal House of Representatives is Igbo. So what a sensible group will do is to support that man and to become part of their community, so much so that the community feels like this person is part of us, these people are part of us, therefore it doesn't really matter. But what they do is to continually authorize themselves and ask for more without ever being grateful for what they've got. And to be clear, whatever you get in Lagos and Yoruba land is a privilege. If I get even in Yoruba land as a Yoruba man, whatever I get in Yoruba land is a privilege, and I'm a Yoruba man. If it's not that you are dumb and you have this stupid entitlement mentality, whenever you go to places and you get gifts, people that are properly raised will say thank you. What you expect is gratitude. But some people are just ingrate and always asking for more. So all this nonsense about, we have to do this in Lagos, we have to do that in Lagos, is not going to work. And nobody really cares about people's rights, in the sense that it's not about your rights, it's about the people's, welfare. And if all your goal in life is to accomplish your ambition, maybe you should go back to your village and go and do that. May God bless you on your trip back home. That's one. Number 2, we also talked about Peter Obi and what he said in Washington, D.C. when he said there's no reason to hold Nnamdi Kanu. And we're wondering, does this make him okay with IPOB? Which is the reason for that first question. For that first line on your screen, is Peter Obi okay with IPOB? And of course, we also heard him say that, there is brothers, there is neighbors, they talk, they're not terrorists and all of those things. And then we listen to different things that Nnamdi Kanu has said in the past, and also the effect of his words. Was it just speaking? Were those just vulgar words, or were they words that actually caused people to do certain things? If they were just vulgar words, he would not be in Sokoto today. All right, we'll bring some people up to discuss it again, just to be clear, when you come up, it's not really about Kanu, it's about Peter Obi, who is saying Kanu is okay. Is Peter Obi okay with IPOB? All right, so let's have some of our folks here on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok and you want to be part of the conversation, please send a message on Telegram at Busui Oris, and then I'll call you in. So let's have Fola, Rich, Adeklo, and Nia Devi. Please keep it to 2 minutes. I would really appreciate it because we have a number of things to cover. Please mute as soon as we get up so we don't have interference. Thank you very much. So let's begin with Mr. Fola. Good evening, Mr. Fola.
Good evening, sir.
Ẹkáàbọ, sir.
Yes, sir. Ẹkú
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Did you see, sorry, sir, did you see the comment of that ignorant musician, Ill Bliss?
We talked about
Twitter?
it earlier. Yes,
Okay.
yes. We talked about it earlier. Yes. Mori. He eventually apologized, by the way. But the apology, it wasn't even an apology because it was just half-hearted and makes no sense. But please go on.
No, it shows the depth. Sherry, nígbà tí mo ti ka àwọn ìwé Chimamanda, tí mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Even the so-called educated among them or the so-called liberated ones among them, them are feeling pé ó yẹ kó tiẹ̀ lè try láti lọ́pọlọ díẹ̀. I'm sorry to say, but you understand, you'll be like, ó yẹ kẹ́ni yìí tiẹ̀. They would so disappoint you. They would so disappoint you. When I saw the one of their Lord and Savior talking about Nnamdi Kanu, I've watched I've listened to many of his recordings, and how they feel okay with that, I don't understand. Now, what I've discovered is that, when we were growing up, we were raised with love and we were raised not to be bigots, even though we had some of our people that were to the extreme. But the extremism of our people is in the sense that Emma Fenwon, Itori, Iwa, bye, Longu, and it was limited to the knowledge of those people that they had. Unlike them, tó jẹ́ pé a host wọn, ẹ̀ ń gbé láàrin wa, at least àwọn èèyàn tiwa púpọ̀ nù wa ò lọ gbé láàrin wọn, ẹ̀ ń gbé láàrin wa, and you do not still have the sense to teach your children how to grow in a civilized society. I don't understand. Sherry, it was too ó ti báyé mú wọn mọ́ àwọn ọlọ́mọ máa ń sọ pé àbáwo làwọn Fúlàní yìí ṣe járe wa ẹ̀mọ̀ nǹkan tó máa ń sọ nìyẹn ọjọ́ kan tí kan ni wọ́n sọ wọ́n á sọ fún pé ẹ̀yin ni ò yẹ kẹ́ wà láàrin wa àwọn ní great empires ẹ̀yin ò ní kankan nítorí in their own lọ́kàn tiwọn àwọn bẹ́tà àwọn Haúsá lọ́kàn tiwọn nìyẹn o àwọn bẹ́tà àwọn ṣe máa ń pè ẹ̀yin lẹ̀ ní great empire nítorí ẹ̀ lẹ̀ ṣe understand respect for elders see it's simple values understand it. Now I'm sorry to bring something in from outside, but in Ethiopia, Bobo yẹn tiẹ̀ funny gan, they follow am on top TikTok. Ó wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ká list àwọn tó lọ gbà ní Ethiopia, àwọn 100 and something. In fact, èmi sì mọ̀ ń pa àwọn nítorí orin tọkọ yẹn, orin ìlú wọn ni. So ẹ̀yin náà lẹ ń jáde lẹ lọ ń borúkọ wa jẹ́ ní South Africa, ẹ̀yin náà lẹ ń jáde lẹ lọ ń borúkọ wa jẹ́ ẹ tún wá dẹ́kọ̀ or ẹ wà láàrin space wa and you keep misbehaving. I just don't understand. My own, what I want people of our nation, I mean the Yoruba nation, to take away from this is that be smart. Be smart. These people, one more kotoshi, these people, they have an agenda. You have to be smart enough so of your liberality. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fola. That was brilliant. That was a very brilliant speech. And we're still going to talk about Ethiopia much later. It's one of the top topics we have today. That will be after we talk about Operation Clean Sweep. But I want to read something. There's a comment on YouTube. I want to quickly read it. It's from Tokwe No. He says, they are not seeking representation. They are seeking domination. I'm just going to ask everybody to bear with me as I clap for this gentleman. I mean, it's the truth, and I've said things like that before, but I'm also glad that someone else is saying it. And it's not new, by the way. It's not a new idea. It's something that you find in every book that you read about the war written by non-Igbos. Even when they write those books, they also say they said that we want domination, boys. Excuse me. They said we want domination, but it's not really true. But every person, whether you're reading My Command by Olusegun Obasanjo, The Nigerian Civil War by John Desenjo, Christ and Conflict in Nigeria by H.M. Green, just about every book you read of that around that era, you see that word domination. And there's another book, Educated Elite in Nigerian Society by A.I. Daily, Nigeria History by after the Second World War by GJO. You know, when you read all these books, you see that phrase, and the reason that is, you know, what's the word now? The reason it keeps reoccurring is because a person literally made that statement in 1945. The person's name was Charles Daddy Oyema. C.D. Oyema was a lawyer, and it was an island club in Lagos. 1945, he said, the Igbo domination of Nigeria is only a question of time. By the way, I think I mentioned this last week, that phrase, right, or that sentence was actually what led to the riots in the north that led to the killing of the Igbo people. Now, the killing of Igbo people, of course, is condemnable regardless of how many people, even if it's one person. It's terrible for that kind of thing to happen. But if they never told you why it happened, you will repeat that thing, which is what people are still repeating till tomorrow, because they never tell them the reason for the you know, ugly incident. They just tell them that you are the victim, or you are the victim, or you are the victim. You go everywhere telling people they are going to dominate them in their own land. Meanwhile, you left your own scarcity reading space to be telling everybody that you are going to be dominating them. Yeah, like we said, whatever you hear IPOB say today, or whatever you read on Twitter, it's not an individual thing. It's a cultural reality. The same way Yema said the Igbo domination of Nigeria, you know, is a question of time in 45. It wasn't just talking as an individual. It was literally repeating a conversation they had had a year before then. That is recorded, by the way. And the plan was to actually, these were their own words, to perpetually rule Nigeria by 1964. It was a 20-year plan. They had a meeting in 45. Onyema said what they said in 45. Sorry, they had a meeting in 44. Thing is, and by the way, if you're Igbo here, by the way, to be honest, if you're Igbo, you're not my primary target audience, to be honest. And I say that with all the love I can muster, because if you're listening to me, that will take a miracle, okay? I usually want to talk to people that have been manipulated. I mean, if, like me now, it's easy to blackmail us because our parents did not tell us about the war. They didn't tell us about history. My father never told me anything about Nigerian history, apart from Awo and when we were reading Tribune as a child, or reading sketch newspaper, or reading, you know, Tell during the MQ Abiola, you know, saga, the June 12th thing. And those are the conversation we usually had. It was always about Western region. We never had a conversation, any conversation about what Nigeria was like in the 50s or 60s, never. So it's easy for anybody to blackmail us, someone like me. And so, having read what have been recorded during that period and about that period, I just want us to have conversations so that we are grounded. Like I always say, you've got to show love to everybody, right? You have hate towards nobody, malice to none, love for all. However, nobody should be blackmailing you with nonsense, okay? So all of that to say that whatever you're hearing right now is a repeat of what, you know, has happened before, and it will keep happening because people have refused to evolve. They are stuck in the evolutionary process, right? I think that when you talk about metamorphosis, you have egg, larva, pupa, and then adult. I think that's the stage. Those are the 4 stages, right? If I remember my biology and integrated science, or elementary science, I think that's what it is. 4 stages. Let me ask my sons. 1 second. Egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Abi. Thank you. I know Bukabi. Yes. So those are the phases. So a person is stuck at the egg stage, be shouting at the adult, say, "I want to fly like a butterfly. I have a right." You do have a right, but you have not evolved. You have not metamorphosed into that level. So people have to calm down, stay in your egg position, become larva. It might take you 1 minute, but it could also take you 10 years, or in some cases, it looks like it's taking some people more than 100 years. But whenever you wake up is your morning, all right? But the rest of us who are awake, it's important for us not to be drawn back by those who are still sleeping. May God give all of us understanding. All right, we're going to go to the Ethiopia thing later, but let's quickly have Adeglo. Good evening, Madam Adeglo. Please keep it short. Thank you. Okay,
Good
looks
evening,
like
sir.
she's not available. Okay, evening, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm here.
Ẹkáàbọ.
I'm here. Yeah.
Ẹkáàbọ.
Yeah, Ẹkáàbọ, sir. Thank you. On regard to where do I start? Obi, let me start with Obi. That guy, Obi is a graduate. The reason why I know he went to America to be saying all that rubbish that he didn't know why Nnamdi did not do anything wrong. He wants money. Obi need money. He wants donation. I knew that it's gullible because he's the one, all the Nnamdi Kanu supporters, they are with him now. So it's like he's the adopted father for all the IPOB and the ESN and no government. They are the ones supporting him now. So he needs their money. I knew the only way he need to, if he didn't pander to them to say something positive about Nnamdi Kanu, he's not going to get money. Election is coming, Obi need money. So that's that one. In regards to this, his family running mad in Lagos and other western, our Yoruba area. I don't blame them. It's like the system and the government have sold us cheaply to these people in the name of constitution and one Nigeria. As you always say, they always claim their rights. They have right to live everywhere. They have right to do whatever they want to do. I guess that the reason why they collapse the regional system is for them to be able to run mad, and they are doing it at the full extent. The only thing our governors, our government can do for us in the West now is to, maybe if you cannot go back to regional system, they need to do something to protect the indigenous rights for us, or else regardless we will be run over, because these people, they cannot stay in their region. There is nothing there. Look at now, they are bringing them all over those who are in prison all over the world now. They are bringing them. Where would they go? They are not going to go anywhere. Bringing them back to Lagos. Even those that cannot live in Lagos, they will go to Akure or Ondo states. So our governors need to sit tight in the West to put a system in place to protect the indigenous, to put a law in place to protect the indigenous, that we protect our space. If not, we just be talking and talking, and they will do whatever they want to do in the name of one Nigeria, and they'll be getting away with it. And again, we have so many Yoruba bots among us, and so many of our people that have married to them as well, that they are even supporting them. So if you look at it now, it's like we are fighting at all over. It's like they're all over the place, all over our places, they're all over the places in our land. We are fighting many battles at the same time.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma. And that's to be honest, yes, we're going to need a lot of help from folks in politics, and I'm sure politicians are also noticing that it's not going to be business as usual, because a lot of people are not finding this rhetoric funny. For instance, there's a clown on YouTube saying that his parents are agents of retrogression. And so here's the thing: you can say whatever you want to say about people, but they must not respond. Once they respond, they are agents of retrogression. Some of you guys are dull, very dull, like you're very dull, too slow, right? And that's it is what it is. I don't want to say more than that. Okay. So yes, there's a lot of issues. We're going to get to some of those things much later. And I think what we can do as a people, I mean, to be fair, you can't really stop my movement of people across the country. Even if you leave Nigeria, you can't stop movement of people across West Africa. ECOWAS has this free trade, whatever, free movement, whatever. But you see, everybody can protect their own citizens. If you're a governor in Southwest, your goal is not for Nigerians primarily, it's for your own people primarily. And it looks like it's only in the Southwest that our politicians do not understand these things. They know it in the North. They definitely know it in the Southeast. And even in South. The other day, the governor of Akwa Ibom State was talking about how there will be a certain quota that goes to Akwa Ibom indigenes, right, when it comes to employment, whether public or private. When you go to Anambra, they are doing indigenship. If you're not an indigene, you can't get jobs. Enugu, the same thing. Those ones don't just you don't have to just be indigene of the state. You have to be indigene of the word. They call it word of origin. You have to be indigene of that word, almost like saying word of origin. And you must be able to speak the dialect of that particular part, not just be able to speak Igbo. The dialect in Benye, you must be able to speak it. The same thing in Sokoto. They are very, very territorial. Like, okay, you know what? Indigenes first. It's when you get to Yoruba land that some of us will be acting as if we are the ones that created Nigeria. Everybody protects their space. Everyone. We are the ones who open up. And see, I understand how that is good in the sense that you are able to attract different kinds of people. But see, the thing is, your priority should be your people. Your priority as a leader should be your people, not all this. I want to be seen as good. I want to be seen as one Nigeria. To be one Nigeria, Darande makes no sense. In other words, outside people say, you know what they say, the man is good. How do you say that in English language? Okay, I have to give you the backstory, but you might understand exactly what I just said right now. The man is good. This is the backstory. So back in the day, people would go to well, it's actually beer parlor. I was going to say club, but it's beer parlor. And then a man could just come in and just tell everybody, give everybody free drinks, like fill the table. Oh, that man is good. That man is good. That's not a very smart human being. That's a very dumb person. But you know what? The people who get the freebies, they'll keep saying, no, you're a good person. You're a good person. But the truth of the matter is that the people who travel to Yoruba land to tell us to open up at home, they are as close. They are closer than close. And I do not fault them for being close, just to be clear. I don't even fault them for taking care of their stuff. I don't care. I'm not faulting them for that. I'm just saying that what is source for the goose is source for the gander. Right? And our politicians also need to begin to protect. Again, we will never close up like others. And the reason is not because we can't, it's because there's a level of civilization you have as a people that become very difficult. And I've said this before. For more than 1,000 years, and I'm not joking, there are sources for every claim I'm making. For more than 1,000 years, we have had situations where folks from across other parts of Africa, there was no Nigeria to be clear, but places like the Songhai Empire, present-day Mali, and so on, Senegal, will travel, particularly from Mali, will travel to our space, will go to their space, some will stay back, some of us will stay there. We've done that. That's why when these clowns use words like cosmopolitan as an argument against why you are doing, I'm like, do you even know what it means to be cosmopolitan? You've never built a cosmopolitan space in your life, in your history. I grew up cosmopolitan. We are city people, Yoruba people. We are city people. When Yoruba got here, they found cities in Yoruba land. When they go to some other parts of Nigeria, they created those towns. Can't even call them cities. There were towns and cities in Yoruba land when the British arrived. And there were towns and cities in other parts of Nigeria. For instance, there were towns and cities in Hausa land. There were towns and cities in Kanuri land. So I'm not saying Yoruba was the only one that, of course, but to be fair, we are the most urbanized. And it's not, I'm not saying that to throw jabs, it's just to make a point. If a people move out of villages and hamlets, then come into Yoruba land to tell us about cosmopolitanism that they've never built in their space, it begs the question, do you even know what you're talking about? Who do you think you're talking to? So we've always had guests, strangers. I was talking the other day, if you read the history of the Yoruba by Sibi Baji Akintoye, Some of the first mosques that were built in some parts of Yoruba land were built because of Hausa traders that were moving into Yoruba land. Because you see, the king is essentially like the patron of strangers, so to speak. In other words, if strangers come, they can find refuge in the palace. You find this across Yoruba land. You find in Ekiti. Just as you find it in Ekiti, which is in the east, you also find examples in Oyo, which is in the north. If you read the history of Yoruba by... so the first one I mentioned was A History of the Yoruba. This other one is The History of Yoruba by Samuel Johnson. He talked about a case where a Hausa man lost his Quran. And, you know, not just his Quran, they are stealing stuff from him, and then he went to the palace and they complained, and then the king said they should give back to him everything that they took from him, the other thing at the time. And they gave him everything but his Quran. And he returns to the king and says to the king, you know, I've gotten everything back, but there's one thing that's a treasure. I can't get it. I can't find it. They've not given it back to me. And the other said, look back in I mean, could say maybe or something. And the Allah says something very instructive. You find this story is literally in the book I mentioned by Samuel Johnson. He said he will call his father, and that his father will find the person who stole the Quran. This Allah is not a Muslim. He said he will call his father. When he said his father, if an Allah tells you he's going to call his father, he's talking about Shango. He said he will call his father, and his father will find the person who stole that book. Allah called his father. Before the end of that day, the man who was the Basharon, who took the Quran, his house caught fire. We can go into the details of those things later, but the point I'm trying to make to you is that we will even fight for the sake of strangers. So the idea of being welcoming, having people come and live amongst us is not a new thing. We've had it for over 1,000 years with documented evidence. So people who move out of hamlets will not be the ones who teach us about cosmopolitanism, number one. Number two, there's also a level you get to where you understand the fact that even as cosmopolitan people, we also determine the boundaries. Outsiders do not determine our boundaries. We determine our boundaries. Like, this is how far you can go. I don't care that you're speaking English. And these things are things that any sensible person would understand, because that's what people do in their homes. But it just seems as though, as a Yoruba person, you can't say that because somehow it doesn't really show you as, you know, opening your door to people. Who is this donor? Is there a moderator there to help me block this clown? Oji Maduka Frank says, bro, have you traveled to the Southeast before? Yes. The Southeast has 5 states. I've been to 4 of those. I've been to many towns in the Southeast. And that's why when you guys talk on social media, I'm like, we've been to your home more. I've been to Anambra. I've been to Imo, to Abia, and to Enugu. It's only Ebonyi I've never been to. So when you ask me, have I been to Igbo land? Yes, I have. I would not relocate there, Sha, because why would I? The only reason I would live in that place is if I go there as a missionary. Maybe God says, go there and preach the gospel. I can go anywhere. But on my own, don't let me explain, but I'm sure you get the point. We're going to come back to some of these topics later. I'll respond to some of the things in the comment section. Shola Yeton says it's not good to attract different people. Advanced society attract only skilled workers or investors. Yes, there are also different people. So I think the mistake you're making is that you should have said it's not good to attract just any kind of person. A lot of people that moved into Yoruba land back in the day were actually very skilled people. You know, and it was, of course, when I say 1,000 years ago, I was talking particularly about Ife, actually. People moved in, and again, trading is what anybody can do. Trading is what anybody can do. When we talk about skilled workers. We're talking about people who actually have skills, who possess skills to do certain things. Because this import-export, that's not how societies grow. You will never find a society that grows on import-export. In fact, what am I saying? On importing alone. When you hear people shout, we want port, nobody asks about. It's sad that when we discuss ports, we don't talk about ports in terms of exporting anything. We talk about ports in terms of importing stuff. In other words, we are literally not just outsourcing, but shipping out the jobs. I want to read something to you from. It's something I read. I think I'll find you that note. It's from China. China went to China. So there's something called in Confucianism. I don't know how we got here, but we are here. In Confucianism, there's something called the four occupations. Okay, it's like a hierarchy, the Confucian hierarchy, of people in society, and the people that you actually give. I want to use China. I want to use Chinese philosophy. By the way, Confucius was a Chinese philosopher. You could call him the greatest Chinese philosopher of all times. All right. And by the way, his philosophy is still what China uses till today. That's why they do the things to do the way they do. But I want to give you very quickly the four occupations of the Confucian hierarchy. So they have the Shi. Please stay with me. I know we don't move from topic, but it's okay. They have the Shi, who are the scholars. They have the Nong, who are the farmers. They have the Gong, who are the artisans, and they have the Shang, who are the merchants. So here's the thing. As far as Confucius was, and even now, I'm not just going to talk about Confucius, even the Chinese society. The scholar leader is the highest on the ladder, right, in the hierarchy, the scholar leader. So the official, of course, even till today, the officials, you have to write a lot of exams to get there. Like, they have very strict, that thing actually goes all the way back to Confucius, but long story. The point is, at the top of the ladder is the scholar stroke official. These are intellectuals. They're the ones who take time to study stuff. They understand things. They're able to actually, formulate theories and ideologies and so on and so forth. They're able to manage the state. Next to them were the Nong. That's the farmers. Of course, those are the people that produce food. They produce food, right? These are the people that, because of course it was an agrarian society back in the day, so the bedrock of society was food production. So after the intellectuals who are leading the state, you have the farmers who are feeding the state. And then you have the Gong, that's the artisans. These ones have technical skill. And I think that's what the person on YouTube was talking about. Sholayeton is talking about people that are skilled. So to the Chinese, the third after the state officials who are scholars. By the way, officials are not just people that are able to win elections. They're actually scholars. One more way, not just the people that are just opportunists, just jumping all over the place because you don't. Anyway, you get the point. So you have the scholar leader, you have the farmer, then you have the skilled artisans. All right, those are the gongs. After those three, you now have the merchants. Those were traders. They're the ones whose goal was profit, essentially. They sell so they can make profit. The idea basically was, to make profit for themselves. They are not necessarily creating anything innovative, right? If you're looking for innovation, you go and talk to either the statesman, the farmer who is probably coming up with new crops, and particularly the skilled artisan is the one who is inventing, is the one who is innovating. See, the merchant, interestingly in Chinese society, he is viewed with suspicion because they know that in his head, the only thing he's thinking about is, I'm not talking about Yoruba, Nigerian, Kenya, I'm talking about Chinese Confucianism. The only thing in his head is profit. He's not creating wealth. But of course, it's also important in society, but it's at the lower rungs of the ladder. That's why when people people should study Confucius. I mean, and by the way, Confucianism, you can have the religious aspect and have the philosophical part of it, similar to Oromila. Just as Confucius was a philosopher and Socrates was a philosopher, Oromila also was a philosopher. There's a religious side to it, there's a philosophical side to it. But I don't want to use Yoruba philosophy to judge any other ethnicity in Nigeria. That would not be fair. The point I'm trying to make with this Turanchi and Chinese conversation is that in societies that are doing consumption to production, and China went to China, the importer, the merchant, the trader is at the lowest rungs when it comes to the social hierarchy. At the top are the intellectuals, not tradesmen, not people selling things. And everybody is important, but there's something called hierarchy because he cannot rule a state. A trader does not know how to politic. A businessman would, but not a trader. But a businessman who has worked with the skilled or with the intellectuals. The intellectuals were trained to manage society, to manage the state. They understand statecraft and politicking. They know concessions and negotiations. They don't cry around the place and say, oh, see what they don't give to me. They know exactly what they have to do. They were trained to do that. Which is what we also lack in Nigeria, by the way, but we still have some of them. E.g., President Tinubu, that man is a scholar and is definitely a statesman. You don't like it, hug a transformer. God bless you on your way to NEPA office. After those ones, you now have the farmers. Those are people that are feeding us. They are more important than the people that are trading. Not the person where chop go trade. That's why conversations in Nigeria about importation, it's ridiculously low. It's pedestrian. It doesn't even make sense. One pot. To do what? What are you producing that you're putting? And in order to produce, you have to get to the third level, which is where the artisans are. They're the ones who are innovative. They're the ones who are creating stuff. They're the ones who are making things. You talk about the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. Those are the artists. I mean, in that sense, you have the artisans there. And where is the hub of manufacturing in this country? I mean, fill in the gap. By the way, I've often said that there are three things that we confuse a lot in our conversations in this country. People assume that trading is synonymous with business and commerce. There are two words that may sound alike and, of course, are interrelated, but they are not the same. Just because a person can turn 1 to 2 does not mean they actually understand business. Business is a lot bigger than that, and commerce is even wider. But that's not today's topic. I'm just trying to say that all this clamor for I want to be able to sell, I want to be able to, anybody can, any clown Dick Canary can, did I say clown? Tom Dick Canary can, of course, you should go to learn, but society doesn't put premium on the trader. Not because the trader is not important. The trader is very, very important in society, but it's not as important as those who actually keep society running. His place can be filled very quickly. It's very difficult to just change. You don't care about food or farming. You are dead. You have no leadership. Your society is in chaos. You have no skilled folks. There will be no flutter wave. We have like 5 unicorns in Nigeria at the moment. There's Flutterwave, there's Andela, there's OPay, there's InterSwitch, and there's MoneyPoint, right? These are multi-billion-dollar operations, right? You can't have that without skilled people. You don't trade into that. You can start as a trader, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you go up. Many people start as traders and then they evolve. But don't stay at trading level and be shouting at everybody, shouting, you want to import. How did I even get into that place? Okay, it was somebody who mentioned something on YouTube. Let's read some things on YouTube before we go back to the other topic. I don't know why you guys are crying here. I don't know why you guys are crying. We're just talking. You guys will support, what's the name of the clown that you guys support until he went to prison? Simon Ekpa was in Kini talking. You guys were shouting. You think this is hate? Are you guys dumb? Of course, how is this hate? You know what? Let's go back to the topic. Once you say something that doesn't make them feel comfortable, you hate them. It's a very childish way of thinking. So we should celebrate Peter before saying nonsense. You guys will be right. By the way, that Confucian hierarchy, I think is something that societies, I mean, if you really check across the space, you find that it's applicable in many spaces. Everybody's important, but animal farm. All right. Before we go on to the second stuff on the screen, I'd like you to listen to the Lord and Savior of, let me mention their names. Uche, Donald, Jordan, Ojima, all of you. Let me play you something from your Lord and Savior. Take a listen to His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi. UK. Wow. 1 second though. He gave us one lamba earlier and, it has unraveled. So let us listen and be blessed.
You live in the UK. 10 Downing Street is 3 rooms. That is an economy that is almost 10 times our economy today. And the Prime Minister lives in 3 rooms. So, okay, 10 Downing Street is 3 rooms. That is an economy that is almost 10 times our economy today. And the Prime Minister lives in 3 rooms. So that's where you start to live in the UK.
So let us pray. Father, we thank you for whoever created internet, and thank you for the provision of internet. Thank you for devices and Wi-Fi and computers and phones. You'd assume that people actually would Google some things before they say stuff. Again, listen, people make mistakes. Okay, anybody can make mistakes, but this one does not make mistakes. It's a lamba machine. Lamba ekpo. Lamba is the lamba is now getting too much. So want to respond to the lamba. Let me just read something to you. He said, by the way, Peter Obi said that 10 Downing Street has 3 rooms, that the Prime Minister lives in 3 rooms. In actual fact, 10 Downing Street contains approximately 100 rooms, serving as both the official residence and the office of the UK Prime Minister. The private living quarters are on the upper floors, while the rest of the building includes offices, meeting rooms, reception rooms, dining rooms, and cabinet room where government business is conducted. So if you look at there's this website here that I found, Institute for Government. It talks about how there are different rooms interconnected. The point I'm trying to make with all of this is that the people in the comment section on YouTube particularly, I don't know how you guys, how I attract great people on YouTube and Facebook and every social media platform in here. But you see, when a fisherman goes to fish, he casts his net, and sometimes while he's having fantastic fish, you also have rocks. There are people in the comment section whose brains have been mortgaged for rocks. Like inside the skull is palongo that is there. If you shake your head, it will make noise. Because how are you saying that we are hating people and that Peter Obi is this or that? Jesus is Lord. Guys, I'm sorry. Let me read something to you. I want to read you something on YouTube, and I'm going to go back to the topic after this. It says, "You said you're educated." I did not say that. I never made the claim that I was educated. I don't know when you heard me say it, but it takes a retard to assume that you have to say that you're educated before you're educated. Anyway, let me read what this retard said. So you said you're educated and exposed. I did not say that either. But you use the F word so randomly. That's a word I never use. Ojima, you're actually daft. How on earth would you... Nobody here will ever tell you that I use the F word. Because I think it's beneath my dignity. It's infrared dig to be throwing F-bombs all over the place. You think we'll be having sessions here and you have some people that listen here are actually very, very... There are people that are more educated than me listening to me. Oh. So you think they are here listening because I'm using F-word? Why are you guys so dumb? Is it your family heritage? Jesus is Lord. Stupidity cannot be this ubiquitous in a particular group. Like how? I agree. Somebody says he's listening to his imagination. God bless you, spirit of ancestor. You think there are people here? I mean, I've met some people on this platform, very, very educated people. I mean, I could say I'm barely educated, but at my worst, I don't like to compare myself because your grandfathers are the best of on count. Anyway, you guys have a way of, whatever is happening in your head, you just project it to other people. No, we don't use such words here. You can go to your umuna and go and be having that nonsense. All right, having dealt with that retard, let's get back to the conversation. Meanwhile, you don't have to be here. I don't want to mute you. Well, Donald Ojima, you don't have to be here. Like, if you leave here right now, I would not miss you. So I promise you, you can go. Like, I'm not going to punish you if you leave. I'm just saying that because I think you probably are afraid that I might, send Amotekun after you. But I promise you I will not. So please, you can step out if you have a problem with what we're discussing. All right? God bless you. Where were we? Let's tone it down a bit. Let's move away from politics for a bit and just discuss things happening in security. Then we will go back to what happened in Ethiopia. So this is from Punch newspaper. We will fight with our blood to make Nigeria safe. AGF. I mean, something really sad happened over the weekend, and I mean, it goes to show that we have a lot of work to do. I mean, particularly the government and the security forces, but I think the citizens also, because if you see something, you say something, right? But something really terrible happened where, I think it was a former, give me a second, I want to play you, Shonicha Ombo, the brigadier general that was kidnapped and he died. Now, of course, there have been lots of conversations about how he died. People have said, that some people say he died of natural causes, which is quite preposterous considering, but of course you can't tell anyway. But some also say that, it was, the kidnappers who inflicted harm or... Sorry, 1 second, let me just mute this clown. You said I said Igbere. Yes, you are an Igbere now. You are just a clown disturbing me. Let me put you on time. I'm going to send you to the naughty corner, Ojima. You don't come here to police me. You don't have enough sense to do that. I'm going to put you on timeout, send you to the naughty corner. You can come back after, you can listen, but don't type. God bless you. Let's concentrate on people that actually have sense. All right, where were we, sir? Amas. Yes, something really terrible happened, with a person who was killed in the kidnap. I mean, who died? We don't know the details because they have not released details on that matter. But that happened, and now the AGF is speaking very boldly, and I'm reading the Punch newspaper again. It says, "We'll fight with our blood to make Nigeria safe." That's the Attorney General of the Federation. I'll read the news now. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, on Monday, said the federal government was not taking the issue of terrorism lightly. declaring that the administration would continue to prosecute suspected terrorists to ensure the safety of Nigerians. 1 second, please. It looks like today Igbos just found time for me. God bless you all. I love you with the love of God, but I hate stupidity. You guys have been nuisances in the comment section now. All right, just listen and be blessed. Don't type. You are typing rubbish. God bless you. Where were we? I have to start again, please. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, on Monday said the federal government was not taking the issue of terrorism lightly, declaring that the administration would continue to prosecute suspected terrorists to ensure the safety of Nigerians. Fagbemi stated this at the commencement of a new phase of terrorism trials involving hundreds of suspects facing terrorism-related charges. Speaking with journalists in Abuja, the AGF said the ongoing proceedings underscored the federal government's resolve to tackle terrorism and other threats to national security. The message is clear, direct, and straightforward. It is that the present administration is not taking the issue of terrorism with levity, and that is why you see ongoing trials, he said. According to him, the latest proceedings represent the fourth phase of terrorism trials undertaken since the inception of the current administration. Quote, since the inception of this administration, this is about the fourth phase that we are undertaking. So the message is that let everybody know that terrorism in whatever form or shape will not be tolerated. We will fight with every inch of our blood to ensure that we make Nigeria a safe haven for everybody, he said. The AGF disclosed that nearly 600 suspects will be tried during the current phase, with proceedings expected to continue over the coming days. Providing a breakdown of the figures, he said, quote, for this phase, the ones we have today, we have about 490. Tomorrow we will have 84, but this 84 does not include the 102 that was brought forward from the last phase. So in total, we have 600 plus to contend with for this phase, and we have been assured by the honorable judges that they will do their utmost to ensure that they clear this number for this phase, he said. The mass trial is part of ongoing efforts by the federal government to prosecute individuals accused of terrorism, insurgency, and related offenses as part of a broader strategy to combat insecurity across the country. I mean, I saw this news earlier today. I was actually quite happy, but then I think the happiness somehow was dulled, so to speak, by the news from Borno State. Now, I understand where they're coming from, and you can speak to it when you come up, please. I understand where the governor of Borno State and the people in that part of the country saying that there are different levels to Boko Haram, and that there are certain people who haven't gone deep, and those people could be rehabilitated, and so they are returning them to society. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. I really don't know. I'm saying I don't know because, man, there are certain things I just don't know. I'll read something to you from Premium Times. I want you to make up your mind on this one. Because I see what the federal government is doing, but I also see what they are doing in Borno State. And I'm like, show Baramusha, is this how to actually make things work? Is this the way to go? It doesn't really look to me like the right thing to doesn't look to me like the right thing to do. Yes, they said they are repentant and all of that, but considering what's at stake. 1 second. Okay, I'll play you the video later, but let me read the news from Premium Times first of all, and then I'll play the video in a bit. So I'll read from the Premium Times. Nigeria says here, Borno reintegrates 720 ex-Boko Haram fighters, says nearly 10,000 rehabilitated under program. Now, I understand again that, you could say it's like amnesty in the South, and say all those things to make the point, and you probably have a point. But maybe those who know more than me can explain when you come up. The Borno State government has reintegrated 720 former Boko Haram fighters into their communities after they completed the rehabilitation and de-radicalization program. The development brought the total number of ex-insurgents processed under the initiative to nearly 10,000, officials said on Friday. The former fighters were reintegrated alongside 992 women and 2,050 children after undergoing rehabilitation at the Hajj camp in Maiduguri, where surrendered insurgents are profiled, de-radicalized, and trained in vocational skills before being returned to society. Nice. Speaking at the reintegration ceremony on Friday, the special advisor to Governor Babagana Zulum on security, Abdullahi Ishak, a retired brigadier general, said the beneficiaries had voluntarily surrendered to military authorities at different times during counterinsurgency operations in the northeast. Quote, today, the Borno model is adjudged to be one of the most effective non-kinetic programs with over 350,000 persons that willingly exited the bush and surrendered to the military, unquote, Mr. Ishak said. A total of 720 men, 992 spouses, and 2,050 children who had repented and surrendered to troops are to be reintegrated after many of them were de-radicalized, disarmed, rehabilitated at the Arch camp in Maiduguri, and acquired various skills through skill acquisition programs. According to him, many of the former insurgents were persuaded to surrender by colleagues who had previously left insurgent camps and successfully reunited with their families and communities. Their way back from the bush began with a call from their colleagues encouraging them to surrender, embrace peace, and reunite with their parents, he said. Mr. Ishak said the latest beneficiaries constitute the 9th batch under the state's reintegration program. He said 8,160 former insurgents had been reintegrated in the first 8 batches, bringing the cumulative figure to 9,680 with Friday's exercise. Quote, the clients seated in front of you were disarmed, demobilized, thoroughly de-radicalized, and rehabilitated, he said. The beneficiaries, he added, came from several local government areas affected by the insurgency, including Bama, Konduga, Maiduguri, Metropolitan Council, Jere, Mafa, Dikwa, Goza, Damboa, Mate, Monguno, Kokawa, Gala, Calabar, and Kubio. All right, take a listen to this clip from Channels TV on this matter.
In the game.
1 second, let the ad play so we can listen to the news itself. All right, let's go.
This is the 9th batch consisting 720 repentant Boko Haram insurgents who decided to lay their arms and are here taking oath with a holy book never to rejoin terrorist groups. The repentant insurgents who received training in different vocational skills during the de-radicalization program are drawn from across 14 local government areas of the state. The program is designed to provide the participants with vocational skills, psychosocial support, and the necessary tools to rebuild their lives and be productive.
The Borno model has reintegrated 8,960 in batches 1 to 8, and today 720 will join them as batch 9. That will bring the figure to 9,680 clearance of low risk and minors. The clearance seated in front of you were disarmed, demobilized thoroughly, de-radicalized, and rehabilitated. They are from Bama local government, Konduga, MMC, Jere, Mobile, Mafa, Dikwa, Goza, Damboa, Mate, Mungunu, Kukawa, Gamorungara, Kalabarge, and Gubiu.
The Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, who represented Governor Babagana Zulum at the event, charged them to reject violent extremism and embrace peace.
Be law-abiding citizens. Respect constituted authority. Respect your families. Borno needs builders, not destroyers. The government and people of Borno State are ready to receive you, but we expect you to be worthy ambassadors of peace. As you return to your communities, carry the message that peace is possible and the future belongs to those who choose education, hard work, and
They received vocational training in mechanic, welding, tailoring, soap making, among others, to become self-reliant and productive members of the society.
While they're doing that in Borno State, I'll read this to you from The Guardian. DHQ launches Operation Clean Sweep 3 in fresh bandit crackdown. Nigeria's military has launched a massive counter-banditry offensive in Katsina State following the abduction and death of retired Major General Rabi Abubakar. The operation, codenamed Operation Clean Sweep 3, was initiated by the Defense Headquarters Joint Task Force Northwest under Operation Fantan Yama and commenced on Saturday, June 14, 2026. According to a statement issued by the JTF's Media Information Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Aliu Danja, the military action is specifically aimed at tracking down the criminal elements linked to the retired general's kidnapping and death, while dismantling their networks across the region. Troops have identified operations across Matazu local government area and surrounding communities, carrying out intelligence-led raids, fighting patrols, cordon and search missions, and clearance exercises targeting suspected bandit enclaves. Military authorities disclosed that early successes have already been recorded in several locations, including Dikawa Hills, Adwa, Nasarawa, and Karadua, where troops reportedly destroyed terrorist camps, logistics bases, and other operational facilities used by criminal groups. The military said the military said the offensive will continue until the perpetrators are apprehended and the affected communities are cleared of bandit activities. I called the person brigadier earlier, but I was wrong. It was Major General. Major General Rabi Abubakar was the man I mentioned earlier who died in bandits' custody. A video came out, a while back. It was just, it's a very sad thing, but apparently the military is going after the bandits, especially after that sad incident. So that's that on security update. Now let's go to the final report before I bring people back up. This time we are traveling to Ethiopia. I don't know if you have your tickets on Ethiopian Airline. I say Ethiopian Airline. We're about to fly. So a report came out of Ethiopia over the weekend. It's good news, but it's also bad news, depending on how you look at it. But I'll do this. I'll play you a couple of clips. Okay, let me just tell you what happened, then I'll play you some clips. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, went to Ethiopia, and the whole idea was to work out a transfer deal with the prison system in Ethiopia, which means they will be bringing a lot of prisoners and criminals into Nigeria from Ethiopia. However, those criminals are not outsiders, they are Nigerians, and they were ecstatic when they saw the woman, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They were happy and they sang. It's quite interesting the language in which they sang, but maybe you're going to understand this by the time you listen. Take a listen to these clips. Someone says, same Bianca they cursed 2 months ago. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I found a breakdown from Mr. Way, who also works with the presidency. It's attached to a ministry, and he wrote out the timelines and the events that led to, the song you just heard. And of course, that song, it's the same song we heard when Jesse Okeonakwalasi was giving people whatever I was giving them, Nosho Solo. They were singing both songs in Lagos, to celebrate their, the good thing that their brother has done for them. Now I'm going to read from Way. We're reading about the Nigeria exchange, Ethiopia president. We're going to talk about the names of the people. We've not mentioned the ethnicity, and I don't think it's really necessary. They're Nigerians after all, but they also have names. New Era says that is IPOB song. Oh boy. So yeah, you're right. Background story of Nigeria-Ethiopia prisoner exchange. In 2019, tension arose in Ethiopia due to high number of Nigerians detained in Ethiopia. However, Ethiopian government granted an amnesty to a large group of Nigerian prisoners. But logistical bottlenecks and subsequent rearrests for similar drug-related offenses led to renewed diplomatic gridlock. Therefore, the chairman of NITCOM, who is that chairman? The one they also insult a lot on Twitter. Her name, of course, is Abike Dabiri. The chairman of NITCOM, Abike Dabiri, stepped in 2023 to negotiate a prisoner transfer memorandum of understanding with the Ethiopian authorities to bring affected Nigerians back home. In 2024, the Federal High Court issued a binding order as part of MOU to repatriate Nigerians from Ethiopia. The government finalized the deal in 2024. Now, the Nigerians that were held mostly in Kaliti and Abba Samuel prisons were held for drug-related offenses. On December 4, 2023, Senator Victor Ome moved a motion in the Nigerian Senate that the federal government should rescue Nigerians and NITCOM should work out their reparations. And then this was how it was implemented. Finally, the work done by the chairman of NITCOM, that's Abike Dabiri, and a team led to the formal agreement signed by the Honorable Minister of the country of the Federation. Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nigerian Foreign Affairs. That's Bianca Ojukwu. And the Honorable Minister of Justice, Fagbemi, with Ethiopian government officials. And now there's a list of the people that were released. Again, most of these people, drug-related offenses. These are people that are making us proud. When you hear that your passport is looking somehow when you get to terminals across the world and you feel bad, just remember that we need to, at this point, there's no time we're not going to get to the point where we begin to write ethnicity on our passports because it is tiring. This place looks like church. The place is filled up. And they are singing, I don't know if it's worship song. I hope they remember President Tinubu when that time comes, because when you look at this list, just about every name, not all, I think there's probably one or two, but just about every name I'm seeing here is 136. Just about every name, they're from one ethnicity. And I think what is painful is it's the ethnicity that then goes around saying Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is terrible, Nigeria is a zoo, Nigeria is that. But you are literally just staining the country everywhere. This is not the time to throw jabs. I just want to advise that people actually, spend some time and look inwards and fix whatever problems they have that is making this lifestyle acceptable in their community. This is not cool. This is not cool. This is terrible. But I'm glad that the federal government cares for its citizens because, of course, regardless, they are Nigerians. But something has to be done because every time we're turning around, you are seeing somebody's carrying drugs, somebody's caught carrying drugs, somebody's going on, and then you hear the person that has billionaire wearing singlet. It's just sad, But I mean, I don't want to really dwell on that. Again, people commit crime in different ethnicities. It's just that it looks like certain people glorify it, right? And I hope the government also does more than just bring people to Nigeria. They should also be careful not to release them without doing what Governor Zulum did. People need to be rehabilitated, if you get the point. All right, let's have some people come up and then we'll have your submissions before we close for today. As soon as you get up, please mute and then we'll have you share your thoughts with us. If you're joining us for the first time, we have the sessions every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. if you're time, West African time. All right, Roboto and Mimi Joseph will come up. Please mute as soon as you get up. Or that will read some of the things in the comment section. Your mics on YouTube says, is it AFG or Bianca? Please mute, please mute, please mute. Is it the FG or Bianca idea to embark on foreign prisoner swap? I hope she has built enough rehab centers in the East to decriminalize these criminals rather than dump them in Lagos and Southwest. I mean, I read it. It's actually not about Bianca. Bianca, of course, is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but it goes beyond her. It's a government to government, kind of relationship or shall I call it a project? SHA is government to government. It's beyond an individual. All right. So let's have Madam Mimi. You're going to have to accept that request. Okay. You're up now. Please go on. Hello, Madam Mimi, are you there? You sent a request though.
Yes, good morning, Ekason. I wanted to talk about Ekason. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to talk about first of all, Orope, we own Lagos, we don't own Lagos and all that. I believe that culturally, the braggadocio attitude gets them in trouble across the world. The first way you know if a Nigerian is Igbo or any other place is their attitude, even in America. Enupo. If there are 5 in one city, I had somebody telling me I want to take over Ilukon, Indiana, which is a lie. When I inquired into it, there were just 5 of them that live there. So that's really their culture. We come a brag, unlike Yoruba. So Japan man call any humility. Yorubas have a tissue, any bata, and things like that. All the sayings make us who we are. We may not even realize it, but that's who we are. We don't brag. Now, the other thing, Timothy Sonipe, every country has an inventory, or at least every locality. One little for sale. For instance, you can say that even every realtor should know that there's 9,000 homes for sale in Florida right now. And they have the demographics of our Tunra. So it's about time that Southwest governors begin to take data very seriously. Come out with demographics, every neighborhood in a place like Lagos, demographic Ikeja, Awon and all that. The reason is for planning. It is very easy in every society for natives to be overrun. It's happened in many towns here, like in Frisco, Texas. Indians still overrun Ibe. And now the natives are pushing back. And in some parts, what's in called Islamic cities, somewhere in Texas of all states. So they keep record of that, at least in some places. And I do hope that the governments in the southwest of Nigeria will at some point begin to be data driven so that down to the local government level, they can put a halt to sale of home to batife alter demographic. Even the city I'm living in, tomati rí pé minority ti pọ̀jù ní àdúgbò kan, ẹ kàn máa rí pé ilé yẹn wà for sale. They have ways of doing it. So those are things we need to take seriously. As for our people, in terms of crime, Emil, I've written so much about it because I'm very passionate about fake drug. And I've never understood why somebody will make money off somebody's misery and still be blowing the money and making noise. So I'm not even because see any to impress me. But then we have to do something as a society to curtail this. So a people that disdain regulation, the most important thing Yorubas can do is to begin to regulate every sector of our society, because that's naturally going to push them away. The moment we institute regulations and we stick to it, people are going to move away, whether we like it or not, naturally. But if we don't, they're going to keep entering more and more. Because even as far as Ekiti and Ondo, they're there. They're there in Ado Ekiti, they're there in Ondo town. They've been there in those places for as long as I remember, 40 years ago, Nwambe. So one has, and I can imagine what they're like now in those places. Because I had a Yoruba friend that told me, well, if I be more Yoruba women, we just want to stop at 2 or 3 or something. I want man believe we can't come a year or more. And they'll do anything, even in this place, to make sure that the government funds it. They exist to look for loopholes in every regulation, wherever they are. Mo ma won kan to wa nbi to je pe bon se ngbo to da to oúnjẹ ọ̀fẹ́ lọmọ wọn jẹ, wọn ra baby food rí, wọ́n dẹ̀ bímọ 5-6, wọ́n dẹ̀ lówó ẹ̀, but wọ́n máa yí ìwé yẹn, wọ́n á ṣe nǹkan tó bá ní láti ṣe. That is the mentality of the people we're dealing with. And when you have that kind of person as your neighbor or as a co-inhabitor of a space, you have to make sure you curtail their expansionist agenda. So we continue to educate Yoruba youths, because I think a lot of them are misguided. A lot of them think it's posh or it's civilized or it's cool to not fight for your survival as a group. But we have to, because see our mom Yoruba, how are they going to ever be solid even in America? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Who knows? So we need to keep doing what you are doing and what people on this forum are doing, so that people will understand. Number one, Nile told you see Yoruba law, but even what they have now is enough. Somebody's got to take an inventory. Someone's got to do the calculations and make sure that they won't upset demographic balance. Yeah? Because which I don't think they have right now, but should they ever get there at Irogo? You know, I was telling somebody here that I used to be for Obimoni. No, Nisin mo ti rí pé tó bá wọlé Èkó gangan náà ń fẹ́. Èkó ni wọ́n ń fẹ́ pé kò dẹ̀ fair. I mean, it's what's fair. What's fair is fair. So before he even came out to be in support of IPOB, which I think Otine Lare, because the Hausas and the Northerners do not like IPOB, and nobody is going to say that someone that was duly convicted by a court of law, a presidential candidate that says that, is very dumb. I'm sorry, because a court of law, a duly constituted court of law in the land, convicted somebody, and you're saying, you know, we won't detain it. So that's my contribution. People, even realtors, people need to set up groups, NGOs. Doesn't mean NGOs don't buy. I have one on Twitter that is Alliance Against Fake Drugs in Nigeria. Set it up and begin to push information out that shows things, that educates people with the mindset of wanting to change. Because if we don't educate people who are normal, there's no way the people who are abnormal or odd will not take over. Everybody church, like you rightly said. They're not in trouble on ni sense láti mọ right and wrong. And that's the problem that I think they have as a society. And that group meeting they had, I listened to two of their speakers who were normal. They had two people that I heard that told them the right thing. One of them said, no, the best I only hope, I think you played that one too this morning. The best they should hope for is to live in peace and do their business in peace. So they still have some normal ones, but they will drown those ones with the greedy voices. So that's my own. We need to keep an inventory. We need to be more data driven, and we need to individually set up things on social media that push, NGO doctrines of alliance in fake drug, alliance against fake drinks, action network against, fake spare parts, because the people that they kill with those things, millions, really drill it down to the statistics. They are worse than the Fulanis. It's just that their victims are not gory. Kidney cancer. Because ní pé kidney cancer ló pa Alex Ẹkáàbọ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀mọ̀ bóyá drink tẹ́yìn ta Hennessy fake tẹ́ ta ní club ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pa ọmọ yẹn kú. So you cannot say. So they talk about rehabilitating terrorists. I believe that the 720 and the huge numbers don't rehabilitate. They're not the serious terrorists. These people have Almajiris. Their population has exploded. So I want second-hand terrorists. I want to rehabilitating. And I don't see a difference between rehabilitating terrorists and what took place in Ethiopia. You do prisoner swaps when there's a war, usually. We swapped prisoners because of this criminal element. So rehabilitating Boko Haram and bringing these guys back home from prison, because nobody's going to monitor them. Again in Nigeria. No one's going to know whether Entokowala to Ethiopia to South sadly. So that's what I have to say today. May God help everybody, because they're not easy neighbors to have, actually.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you very much, Madam Mimi. Great to have you share your thoughts with us today. I'm glad you covered all the bases. I played the video earlier where, again, like I said at the beginning, yes, we talk about the cultural problem, but we also acknowledge good people, right? And like I always say, there's no perfect ethnicity, not even mine. There's no perfect cultural group, not even mine. However, we have developed and underdeveloped cultures, just like we have them as nations, we also have them as cultures. And it's terrible when the people continually repeat the same thing, because that has become their cultural outlook, right? And then they expect the rest of us to pander to it. That's not going to happen. But it's also important to acknowledge that there are good people. There are people who perhaps were not raised in the East alone, because most of the time when they speak, you can tell that maybe something rubbed off somewhere. They're able to actually understand what people are saying, and they're able to put themselves in the shoes of the other group, rather than just be shouting, I have a right, I have a right. But just in case you were not here when we played that video, I'll play it very quickly, and then we'll move on to other things. But thank you very much, Madam Mimi, for coming up. I really appreciate you. I'll bring up CEO Coded now, and please mute as soon as you get up, and then I'll play the audio and have CEO Coded respond later. Okay, take a listen to the clip that Madam Mimi was referring to earlier. Again, I should also say that the guy speaking, the smart one, the sensible one, his name is Ugo Maximilian, and I've read a number of stuff from him. I don't agree with everything he says, which is okay, right? But I can appreciate that the person, that's a thinking person. That's all we need. We don't have to think and face the same direction. We can at least know if a person is thinking rather than just spewing nonsense. Please take a listen to this exchange. It was at an Igbo conference that I held a few days ago, and it was quite interesting what happened. Take a listen, please.
I wasn't quite straightforward with answering the question of whether we can claim the same rights as those from Lagos. Because I know that Nigeria is one of the member states in ECOWAS, and in ECOWAS we have the absolute right for movement of human beings and businesses. You can do business across the ECOWAS without any restriction. So my question is direct. In your view, do you think Igbo should enjoy equal opportunities as those from Lagos State. Thank you.
He said, do I think that Igbos have the right to claim equal rights in Lagos? At least you know me a little bit. I'm a blunt person, and I'm going to be blunt right now. I am from Imo State. I don't care what about ECOWAS said. I'm just being realistic. In every entity, there are landowners. And how this thing works, whether in America, whether in Israel, whether in India, you can't come from Lagos State and you come to Owerri and you want to be dragging rights with me. You know go work now. You know go work now. The only thing I will have to guarantee you is the freedom to do your business, the freedom to work, the freedom to live, to live according to our customs and traditions. The day you begin to question us, we go pursue you. Life. That is how it is. I also believe that we as Igbos, if we go to Lagos, they have been liberal with us enough. They allow us to contest elections and win. Also, Oshodi is solo. For the past 3 consecutive election seasons, federal constituency, Igbos have been winning it, including the one that is there now. I just called out how many chairmen of markets now. Over 10 since 1970 to now that were Igbos. That's enough. They give us freedom to do business. Interfering in their politics, I don't accept it. I don't support it. And I'm also saying clearly right here now that we don't have rights to claim equal rights with them. The only thing we have to do is to enjoy the privileges that they have given us. That's enough. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Ibugoyenkwel. I agree with you on clear facts. I think you...
I mean, we had the other person that was disagreeing with him, and again, as soon as he said they disagree with him, people started clapping for him, because when they asked the question, they were not expecting him to answer according to reason. They wanted him to tell them what they wanted to hear. Reminds me of a scripture where the Bible says that people will heap to themselves teachers that will teach them what the itching ears want to hear. In other words, once you're not saying what they want to hear, then you're not a good person. But as soon as you begin to tell them what they want to hear, then they begin to applaud. So, I mean, and that gentleman was very correct. People already have opportunities in Lagos, right? And this whole thing that they will not give, and I think that for folks from the Southeast to have that confidence to be able to say the nonsense they're saying, they need to do something just a little bit. 2 things, actually. Number 1, they need to allow their own brothers from other cities, from other towns and villages in the Southeast and states to represent them, rather than shout that, for instance, in Aba, the governor of Abia State, Governor Alex Oti, appointed an Anambra man, John Odiagbala, as mayor of Aba, not governor, mayor, just mayor. Like, mayor is not big deal, Abi. The people in Abia State said Aba is not a no man's land. Abia is not a no man's land. That's what they said, right? You can't do that to your own ethnicity and then travel over the world telling people that you have a right. Right? Once you're done, well, you can have an Anambra man become like a mayor in Aba, and a Bonyi man become something in Anambra, and Enugu man become the governor of Imo State. Do it amongst yourself. Once you are done, the next thing is now you now have to go to the north. You go and tell those in the north that you have a right. By the way, you should even do that one first. Tell them you have a right to run. I said 3 things. I'll be okay, sorry, I want to start again. 3 things. Number 1, go to the north and tell them that you want to become governor because you have a right. After all, you are a Nigerian citizen, and the north is part of Nigeria. Go to Sokoto, go to Kaduna, go to Kano. If you don't go, you are a coward. Okay? So you go there and decide, tell them that you have that right, because of course, it's a Nigerian state. When you're done, then do the number 2 thing. Get people in your state, in your region from other states to represent you in your state. Then number 3, you now go to Sokoto, you go back to Sokoto and get a Fulani man to become your governor, because we are in one Nigeria. Let us have a Fulani governor of Anambra State. How cool would that be? I'm not asking for a Yoruba man to be your, because that would be beneath any sane Yoruba person. But yeah, get a Fulani man to be the governor of Anambra State, like a Tiv man to be the governor of Ebonyi State. Let's have an Idoma man become the governor of Abia State. Let's have that so that we can actually see charity beginning at home. Anything else is just nonsense. And now people actually have enough sense to see that. We're going to have our final speaker before we close the session today. By the way, if you join us for the first time, we do have the sessions every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. So we'll be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. discussing history, culture, politics, and innovation. But we do have one more person who wants to speak now, and that's CEO Coded. So we'll have CEO Coded give his submission. Good evening, CEO.
Good evening, Prof. Akujumọ ni o. Ṣé rojo lọ́dọ̀ yín?
Sir. Akukuri.
It is well. About Alarabo.
Okay.
Quick one. I listened to the audio that you played, and I think the guy couldn't have said it better. That people should respect the rights of the landowners, the indigenous people of the states. There are a lot of things in our constitution, a lot of rights have been guaranteed, but there are some silent rights that the constitution is silent about. And it's only natural because you cannot say you come and... It's like you coming to drag my father's house with me. Tí o bá ń ṣe ojú kòkòrò gan, I mean, kí ni ọmọ ọkọ yàtọ̀ sí ọmọ àlè now? But I intentionally said that in Yoruba for a reason. So, and this thing that they keep saying that I want to rag gbogbo Èkó. I was on a platform some time ago, and I said I don't know where they are getting where they are getting the data from that they've actually rag gbogbo Èkó, because one of our companies is a real estate company, and I know how many houses we've sold in the last 3, 4, 5 years, and the percentage of those people tó ra ilé lọ́wọ́ wa mi rò pé 10%. Nǹkan tí mo mọ̀ pé ni pé they actually are big on rentals, and tó bá fi lè gbalé lọ́wọ́ yín, tó bá ti sanwó ọdún kan, ẹ máa fi Ọlọ́run bẹ ànábì kan tó sanwó ọdún kejì, and èèyàn kan ló máa wá gbalé, ẹ lè rí èèyàn bíi 20 tó máa gbé the same house. So that's why you see them concentrated in certain areas of they can get away with some of their shenanigans. And the earlier speaker talked about data and the rest of them. I mean, I can assure you for a fact that Lagos has data. I don't know about the rest of the southwestern state, but Lagos has data. Lagos knows the number of people that have bought houses in Lagos, their demography, their ethnicity, everything. Lagos state has it. Like I said, I can't speak to the rest of the southwestern state, but I'm sure because I've had to interact with at that level, and I know Lagos has it. Then the second one on the issue of àwọn terrorists in what dáríjì rehabilitating terrorists into the society. I used to be in that camp that believes that terrorists should be unalived, they should not be reintegrated. But something happened recently that gave me that made me have some sort of deep thoughts. Ibi tí mò ń gbé l'Ékòó, a lè pè níbi elite estate, and bí 4 weeks ago wọ́n mú bọ̀bọ̀ kan tó ń ṣe security fún one of my neighbors, because somebody else came to accuse him that he was part of the people tó jí brother òun gbé, ipe ó wá sá wá sí Èkó, ó wá ń ṣiṣẹ́, so bí ẹni pé wá expose ẹ̀ fáwọn yẹn pé kọ́ má dá lóhùn pé Boko Haram ni o, ipe kan lè kúrò nílé wọn. So, and you know, these people can be very funny. Wọn kì í sábà parọ́, this our brothers from the north, they will tell you as it is, nǹkan tó bá máa ṣe fún wọn ni kò ṣe fún wọn. And they actually interrogated it, and he confirmed and confessed that lóòótọ́ lòún jẹ́ lára wọn. But ó sọ nǹkan kan tó wà germane, ó ní pé nílùú àwọn ìsídà kó gbàbọ́n or kan yànkì ẹ̀, in the sense that there is practically no choice for you. It's either you be part of them or you are 6 feet below. And he said in his village that his parents, his siblings are still there in the village. So him being in Lagos, pé tó máa pè òun pé kóun lọ ṣe nǹkan báyìí, pé òun máa ní láti ṣe, pé because òun ò ní choice, pé because tí òun ò bá ṣe nǹkan yẹn, wọ́n lè ṣe jàǹbá fún àwọn ẹbí òun tó wà lọ́hùn. So if you have those kind of people, do you want to say, oh, a blanket law that everybody that is a T group or is a terrorist should be unalive? Like I said, there are people that they are reluctant. I would call them reluctant terrorists. It's because either they are forced to be part of them or there is some sort of hold on them. So we should also recognize that fact that those exist. And I mean, we are lè pa gbogbo èèyàn tó wà nílùú torí pé a fẹ́ dì pẹ̀lú àwọn kan. I think our aim now, our objectives will be to apprehend as much as possible the people at the toppermost part of the echelons. So once we are able to do that, it will also reduce their recruitment drive, the training drive, and everything for them to be able to get more people into their fold. And then we should also not forget to recognize that the system being practiced in the north is our major undoing. The Amajun system is a ready pool of resource for the recruitment of these people. These are people that practically don't have any guardians. Tó má ti gbé wọn, á kàn jù wọ́n sáfà kan pé yá ìwọ máa tọ́jú eléyìí, ìwọ máa tọ́jú àwọn yìí. And whatever doctrine tó bá imbibe nínú wọn, no máa follow. Tó bá ní kán lọ pa ìyáláyà wọn, wípé ìyẹn ni ò jẹ́ kán gbérí, wọ́n máa lọ pa ni, because that's the doctrine that they've been programmed to believe. And programming people at that age is practically very easy, especially people that are not really educated. It's easy for them to be programmed. So de-radicalization is a good effort in the right direction, but it also has to be done strategically. Not everybody can be de-radicalized, so we also should recognize that fact. Those that can be, and those that cannot, then we should find an alternative way of dealing with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO Coded. And it is true what you said. And I'm also glad that you highlighted that nuance. And Mimi also said something in that direction earlier. And I appreciate both of you. That she said that, you know, some of them are not, they're essentially foot soldiers. And some of them are not so far gone. And so they do radical. That's actually what the government of. It's true. It's not everybody that have to, you know, we say, oh, because you want to stop banditry, just kill every Boko Haram member you find. I get the point. You mentioned the reluctant ones, for instance, who had to do what they had to do because their families were also, you know, under threat. I get that. I think it's important that we have these nuances, and I'm glad that yourself and Madam Mimi provided those for us today. All of that to say that, I mean, we're looking forward to a safer Nigeria. I mean, with the Operation Clean Sweep also starting out in Katsina, we wish the security agencies, you know, all the best. There was a clip, for instance, where one of the bosses was talking about how they need the support of Nigerians because, I mean, you may think, of course, we don't have guns, they're the ones with guns, but morale is also important. You see people on social media just talking as though these soldiers, you know, they're not human beings with families, with feelings, with emotions. So it's important for us that we support our armed forces, right? And that the government also needs to buckle up and do better because we expect a lot from them. And this is not just about Southwest, it's about every single part of Nigeria. It's important that, you know, our borders are well protected, and those who have been kidnapped are also released. I mean, this is what we can do, right? To say that we appreciate our soldiers, the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, the Nigerian Police Force, and every agency, Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, and so on and so forth, the Forest Guards, Amoteco, and so on and so forth. May God keep helping them. And the government should also, you know, continually support them. Okay, but when it comes to the radicalization thing, I think it's also important, to be honest. But I think they should also do it with sense, because sometimes the one that being paid, but before we go, I just think it's important for me to play this as a way to also contribute to the conversation that the Nigerian Army is having. It's actually from the commander of the Infantry Corps of the Nigerian Army, Godwin Motkut. I saw this video last week, and I think it's good to also share it with us. Please take a listen to this. Okay, I think we're having a little issue with the device. Just give me a second. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect so that we can hear that. I mean, it's the army essentially asking. I'll read the caption while I try to reconnect. Nigerians should believe in our armed forces. We want all Nigerians to come together with us and be on the same side so that we can effectively send the terrorists packing. All right, that's actually from the commander of the Infantry Corps of the Nigerian Army, Godwin Motkot. I think we should be able to play it right now.
Everybody is welcome to join, to know that the armed forces is the armed forces of Nigeria, and everybody is welcome to join. All the propaganda that they are pushing around, that the armed forces is a sectional or is a tribal, whatsoever they want to say, it's not so. The armed forces is the custodians of unity of this country. And anything the armed forces is doing is to reflect that. So the armed forces, members of the armed forces are from all parts of this country. If you want to check Nigeria, the armed forces still remain the epitome of Nigeria. And so we should believe in our armed forces. In other climes, if you go, you see how they respect the armed forces. You enter plane, they will say member of armed forces first. Anywhere you move, in fact, they even sell to them at rebate. So to encourage them, you need to encourage somebody to fight. Commonly, we have a football team. If they are entering stadium, you will see a lot of spectators coming to cheer them up. It means cheering somebody up is going to give him more energy to stand and do that thing you are cheering him up for. But in our own case, instead of being cheered, we are being bullied. It's unfair. So I feel if we understand what encouragement is all about, we better start doing that. And we thank the good Nigerians that have the wisdom and the knowledge to understand that encouraging the military is the surest way out. We thank them for that, for having that knowledge. But we want the whole of Nigerians to come together with us and be on our own side of the divide to see how we can effectively send the terrorists packing. Thank you very much.
All right, before we go, I think there are a number of things I'd like to quickly just inform us about. So the Nigerian Army, say that again, hundreds of Nigerian Army personnel, widows of fallen heroes and injured soldiers are set to benefit from a massive 1,550 unit post-service housing scheme taking shape in GB along the Abuja-Niger state boundary. I'd like to take a listen to this because, again, this also tells us that the government is not just watching. They are actually, trying to take care of officers and men. Please take a listen to this. This is from TVC News.
1,550. Managing Director of the Federal Housing Authority has described the 1,550 unit post-army housing scheme at GB on the Abuja-Niger state boundary as a landmark intervention aimed at improving the welfare of Nigerian Army personnel and their families. Speaking during an inspection visit to the estate, the FHA chief says the project, conceived less than a year ago, represents the federal government's commitment to supporting soldiers who risk their lives in the defense of the nation. According to him, the estate is the largest military post-service housing scheme ever undertaken in Nigeria, with centers and recreational amenities. He noted that the initiative is intended primarily for widows of fallen soldiers, injured personnel, and other deserving beneficiaries. The MD commended President Bola Tinubu for supporting the initiative and also praised the contractor for delivering the project within a short period.
This is 1,550 housing unit post-army scheme located in GB. GB is within the boundaries of Abuja and Niger State. And the purpose of this is to take care of our servicemen, especially the Nigerian Army. For now, we are doing this first pilot scheme for Nigerian Army. Like we keep saying, the first thing, and I always say it anywhere, is to thank Mr. President. We are talking about insecurity, we are talking about challenges. We are going to send people out to go and battle these insecurity people, the bandits and the others, which is inclusive. That's where our military men, Nigerians, can put in 100% best. We see it in America, we see it in the UK, we see it all over the country, where people will tell you American first. What President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to introduce now is Nigerians will start saying Nigerians first.
All right, that's something really beautiful, and I'm actually very happy that service personnel, widows of fallen soldiers, will be able to have something when they return, and they will not, be discarded. It's important to celebrate them and take care of them. And talking about celebration, let me, read this very quickly. This news report as we round up today. Security forces uncover indigenous people of Biafra Eastern Security Network arms cache in Enugu. Troops of 82 Division Garrison operating under Sector 1 Operation Udoka in collaboration with operatives of the Department of State Services DSS Enugu State Command have achieved a significant operational success in the ongoing Operation Eastern Sanity 2 in an effort to consolidate the peace-building process in the southeast. On 9 June 2026, acting on credible intelligence derived from previously arrested on 9 June 2026, acting on credible intelligence derived from previously arrested suspects affiliated with Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed wing, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, security forces conducted a precision follow-up operation in Gariki, Enugu South local government area. Troops uncovered a clandestine arms hideout concealed within a zinc structure disguised as a piggery. A thorough exploitation of the site led to the recovery of a substantial cache of weapons and ammunition. This includes general-purpose machine guns, RPG-7, launcher tube, AK-47 rifles, hand grenades, tear gas, gun with cartridges, AK-47 magazines, 270 rounds of 7.62 mm NATO ammunition, and 478 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition. All recovered items and arrested suspects have been handed over to the DSS Enugu State Command for further investigation and appropriate legal action. This intelligence-driven operation underscores the effective interagency collaboration in the region, resulting in proactive measures to counter threats to national unity and public safety. It also reflects the operational DOCA's unwavering commitment to sustaining offensive actions against criminal and terrorist networks that undermine peace in the region. But it's not the same people. Peter Obi said that his neighbors, they do nothing wrong. Okay. The Operation Udoka reaffirms its dedication to protecting citizens and preserving national sovereignty. The public is strongly encouraged to continue providing timely and credible information to security forces, thereby enhancing collective efforts to achieve lasting peace and security in the southeast. That's actually from the Nigerian Army headquarters, and there's a short clip. Essentially the same thing that you're going to hear in the clip from Arise News, but in case you're interested, let's take a listen. Just a very short clip. Take a listen, please.
Breakthrough, this time in the southeast. The DSS and the Nigerian Army have raided two separate ESN armories in Enugu State, recovering a rocket launcher, RPG warheads, AK rounds of ammunition, and most alarmingly, NYSC uniforms and lanyards. Security sources say the raids followed planned attacks designed to create the false impression that terrorists had invaded the southeast. Now, the discovery of NYSC uniforms is the detail that demands the most urgent attention, suggesting ESN was planning to disguise operatives as core members to infiltrate communities undetected. The Southeast has battled insecurity for years, and this discovery confirms the threat is real, armed, and calculated. Now, credit to the DSS and the Nigerian army. Nigeria must remain.
We wish the DSS and Nigerian Army all the best and all our security agencies, and it's actually good that this is happening. It also shows that they're working, and we celebrate them, but they have more work to do. Apparently, the reward for good work is more work. So thanks to them, and thanks to the federal government for taking care of them. Thank you very much, and thanks to you for being part of today's session. Whether you're on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, or Twitter, thank you so much for being part of today's session, and thanks for your support. Thanks for power tapping on TikTok and YouTube. Thanks for engaging your comments, including the ones that, the good ones particularly, but even the bad ones. Thank you very much for your comments and your likes and all that. And thanks for the gift as well, particularly on TikTok. I saw some gifts earlier. Thank you so much. Like I always say, I don't usually stop to acknowledge gifts. That's because maybe I don't want to break the, train of thought, but I really do appreciate every single act of generosity. God bless you. Thank you so much. All right. Again, we meet here every day, every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. So we will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. There's something we're working on. I talked about it last month, and I said I was going to give more information in June. And today is June 15th. And I'll just say it very briefly. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll tell you tomorrow. Can I just say it in brief, and I'll go deeper. We'll start having events in campuses later this year, and I'm going to the game show we had a while back. We put a pause on it because some people are here. And I say that wala leg on the internet, so people don't want to show their faces. But this time around, we'll be having the Republic as part of the monthly events that will be starting in a few months' time. But I'll give you more details tomorrow. So that's what we're working on, and it's titled two being Tribes of Ududua, 2 summits, and then in there we'll have the game show. But I'll give you more information, and looking forward to your support and to help do this so we can reach out to our younger ones and even the older ones, but sometimes you have to do it physically. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. They call me so Olasha, I'll go into maybe a little detail until maybe when we'll have a meeting at some point, and maybe I'll now explain, but essentially it's just that we have to begin to build like a network. I was saying the other day about not just sitting online and expecting to have certain political things getting done. And we've been talking about that for a bit, so it's about time we started building. All right, so we'll have that conversation. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. Before we go, I'm going to play the anthems, the Nigerian anthem and the Yoruba anthem, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, again at 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. Let's have our national anthem and then the Yoruba anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa tẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ òkàlìdé bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀.
Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ogun adúláwọ̀, ìmọ́lẹ̀ wo ni wọ́kùn lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́ o, Nàìjíríà náà ò ní bàjẹ́. Ogun tá a rúwéyé tata gbòǹgbòdé, àní gbólàbọ̀ sí àwa lágbára Ọlọ́run. May God bless you, may God bless Nigeria, may God bless Yoruba land. Whatever you lay your hands upon will prosper. In Jesus' name, thank you very much for being part of today's session. I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. Do have a lovely, lovely evening. See you on Tuesday. Good night. Odaro Esho. Ari Lola. Odabo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night.